To the JB&M Sports Fanatic channel. What's good with you? And we are here this Saturday night for a game with only first place in the NFC on the line here. We're talking about the difference between having the first round off, automatically making it to the second round, some time off, time to game plan, time to recover, and all of that. Not to mention the division title on the line as well here between the San Francisco 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks in this one. So this one will be an all-out dogfight to see who's going to win this matchup here. San Francisco at home, and of course, they would love for the playoffs to run through San Fran. Meanwhile, Seattle, we all know about the 12th man. They absolutely, in my opinion, need to have the playoffs go through Seattle for them to have a chance there. So we're going to see how this plays out here. Sam Darnold, how is he going to look in this big game here? He says it's just not a football game, but let's see if he plays like it's just not a football game here. Between him, Jackson Smith, and Jigma, I'm excited to see how that plays out. Meanwhile, San Francisco, they've been running Christian McCaffrey pretty hard. George Kittle, he's suiting up for this one as well. This one is going to be a great one. And let's start off here with the first comment of the day. Daniel Berry Sports, what's good with you? And he says, happy Saturday. Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday to you as well, my friend. How are you doing today? Then we've got Mr. JB in the chat. He says, the Super Bowl picks is the 49ers and let's see. Well, at least we know he's got the 49ers there in the NFC. So well, I think he means the Broncos, maybe. We'll see. But glad to have you here. And again, just waiting for kickoff to get us started here shortly between the 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks. Let JB know in the chat, who do you have winning this one? Let JB know. And if you got a final score projection, love to see that as well. Again, 49ers versus the Seahawks here. Everything on the line. The good news is, even if your team loses this one, you know you're still in the playoff. But there's a big difference between having to go on the road. You just never know in the playoffs. You end up having to go on the road. You just don't know what's going to happen there. But if you can be at home, hey, got to like your odds with that, right? So again, just waiting for the kickoff to get started with this one. And coming into this game here, it seems like the population is almost split 50-50 in terms of who do they think is going to win this one. That goes to show what type of matchup we're talking about here. Seahawks 13-3 on the year, but the San Francisco 49ers, they're 12-4 on the year. Now, how does San Francisco do it? Because some of those wins came through Mac Jones there. They've had guys plug and play, no Fred Warner, no problem. San Francisco has been coached extremely well this season. As for Seattle, it's all going to come down to Sam Darnold. He looks like he's got all those ghosts out of his system there, but hey, how does he do, in the playoffs? Last year, he's with the Minnesota Vikings, and they looked good in the regular season, but fell a little short towards the end of the season here. So this year, can he right the wrongs? Let's find out. SM, what's good? And SM says, same Darnold. So he says Darnold has not gotten rid of those ghosts yet. Meanwhile, kickoff on the way, and this game is officially started here. No return by the Seattle Seahawks here, and let's see what they do here. First offensive drive of the game. Speaking of Sam Darnold, Sam I am. Let's see what he does today. But again, let me know your projection, guys, in terms of how does this one play out? Who's going to get that number one seed, win this ultra competitive division? Because this division also included the Rams as well. You're talking about three, possibly potentially three of the best teams in the NFC. And no offense to the Cardinals, but they just had their problems this year. But man, Sam Darnold. I want to see how Sam looks early on. Can he come out with a little bit of momentum here? Between him, Jackson Smith, and Jigma, can they get going early? And we know about that backfield. Can they get these running backs going as well? Here we go. First play of the offense here. One back in the backfield. You've got two receivers at the top, two tight ends by the formation. And Jigma goes in motion. Darnold looking, throws it, gets it out. All right, so that's Rasheed with the reception there. Gets a nice little catch there for a couple yards. It's going to make it second down coming up. And ultimately, you want to see that from Sam. Him get the ball out quick, be decisive. Forget it to your guy, but be decisive. And so RC in the building. What's good? What's good? And RC says, hey, JV, how are we today, RC? All right, second down and 7. Darting up under center here. 2 tight ends, 2 receivers, 1 back in the backfield. It's a run play. Kenneth Walker the third on that right side. Kenneth Walker the third gets the first down for the Seattle Seahawks. That's what you'd like to see if you're rooting for the Seahawks here. And again, Seahawks here on the road, 13-3 on the year. They know a little something about winning ball games here, but man, this San Francisco team's been very good, especially as the season has gone on. But now the first down here for the Seahawks here. How will this opening drive finish? And then Samuel, the man of the day. Samuel, been waiting on you, buddy. Tell me, how was your date? And I know you're happy that Ole Miss won. Meanwhile, Kenneth Walker the third. Kenneth still going. Kenneth all the way to about the 39-yard line of the San Francisco 49ers. Excellent play call on that screen pass to move the chains, and a nice job there. You get the ball to Kenneth Walker III, and you put some blockers in front of him, and you can see more of that. I love what they did. That time they took their time with the screen, let the play set up there. You saw Big 75 out there leading the way there, running back being patient there because there was nothing but green in front of him. Let's see, Sammy said he don't date night. All right, 1st and 10. Running play here for Charbonnet, and he's going to get tripped up, but not until he picks up at least about 6 yards on that carry. So right now the Seahawks, they are moving the ball here. I like what I'm seeing so far here on the opening drive. 2nd and 4 coming up in the first quarter. 12 minutes and 48 seconds to go on the opening drive here for the Seattle Seahawks. And they know how important it is on the opening drive to come out and score a touchdown. Because playing San Francisco as of late, you feel like their offense is going to score, so you got to be able to take advantage of every opportunity that you get. 1 back in the backfield. Darnold brings Jackson Smith and Jigman to the bottom of the screen here. 3 seconds right now on the play clock. Snaps the ball. So run play, and they're going to tackle him at the line of scrimmage there. So that's going to make it 3rd and 4 coming up. And so Laney's in the building. What's good with you? What's good? Laney says, hey, Samuel. And hey, RC. All right, we got a 3rd and 4 right now coming up for the Seattle Seahawks. Can they get the first down? Tight end goes in motion. 49ers send 4. Sam throws it. Sam gets the completion there to his tight end, who's going to try to fight for it for every yard he can. And he's going to go to about the 23-yard line. So that's a first down there for the Seattle Seahawks. So they are moving and grooving on this opening drive. Laney says, how is everyone doing? I'm doing pretty good. Cannot complain. Football on a Saturday, that's a W every time. Just appreciating these games while we have them, because once these playoffs come and go, we're going to be missing football. So I'm just appreciating every bit of football that we get. Let's see. 1st and 10. Kenneth Walker cuts up that middle. Love it. Picks up about 9 yards on the carry. So Kenneth Walker III, he is finding room early and often. He's having himself quite the drive right now. I mean, everybody's getting in there, doing their part between him, Charbonnet in the backfield. I like what I'm seeing here for Seattle. And I feel like this is what they have to be able to do here. These kind of things here make it comfortable for Sam Darnold here. I love it. All right, they need about 2 yards for the first down. So run play. Charbonnet, excellent job fighting for it. Takes it to about the 10-yard line and a first down for the Seattle Seahawks here in the first quarter. About 10 minutes and 10 seconds to go. SM says, let's see, Ole Miss, Georgia was crazy. That it was. I mean, I remember at the end of the game when that safety happened, then all of a sudden it's like my TV went blank and I was like, wait, what? And so then I saw Georgia had the ball and I was like, wait, how? So absolutely crazy. RC said, hey, JB, I'm cooking burgers at the moment, bro. Hey, that's what's up. Say something for JB. JB stands for Just Burgers. All right, 1st and goal here. Darnold throws one up there, incomplete, but there is a flag. Hey, anytime you throw it up there to Jackson Smith and Jigma, that is a great decision. Absolutely. But yeah, I mean, y'all know I was heavily assuming that Georgia was going to win that game. But it's true what they say. It's hard to beat a team twice. And it seems like a team that loses their head coach more times than not ends up getting that extra boost of just, I guess, the opponent not really knowing what to expect. But yeah, that was an absolute crazy game. Shout out to Ole Miss because nobody really gave much of a chance, but they believed and they went out there and put in the work. So that means no, we will not get to see Carson Beck against his former team. All right, first and goal. Can the Seahawks punch into the end zone? Darnold looking. Darnold feeling the rush. Darnold brought down for the sack. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? I don't understand it. You just run, at least run the ball on first down. That's what you do. See if you can power it in there. But you ask Sam Darnold to hold the ball that long. I mean, come on now. That is not a good formula. What did JB have? Man, JB had some pizza, man. Some Papa John's pizza. That's what I had. Esom says, same Darnold. Second and goal. Now they want to run it with Charbonnet here. And he picks up some of those yards there, but still, you're going to have third down, and you're going to have to rely on Sam Darnold to make the throw. So, hey, get Jackson Smith and Jigma, somehow give him the ball, give him an opportunity. Good things happen when you try to throw them the ball. All right, so again, this current drive, 10 plays, 63 yards, 6 minutes and 40 seconds in terms of time of possession so far in this drive and counting. Third and goal. Can the Seahawks get into the end zone here, or will the 49ers going to stop? Right now, they've got 2 seconds. They've got 1 second. Got to burn the timeout. And yes, they do call a timeout there because, hey, that clock was running. Let's see. Samuel says, hey, JB. He said, what's on Legendary Sports Talk? Is he saying he's on live streaming right now? Hey, that's what's up. I imagine a lot of people are going to be live streaming this game right here because, I mean, this was and will be the game of the day, in all honesty. All right, but a third and goal coming up. This is very important. You always want to start off with a touchdown here in the opening drive, especially when your opponent is the San Francisco 49ers. You're going to need touchdowns. Let's see what they do here. Shotgun formation here in the first quarter, 8:09 to go. Again, opening drive of the game. And they're going to run the ball here. And Charbonnet running for all he could, but what is it good for? 3 yards. He's still about 5 yards shy of that end zone there. Don't love the call at all. You play to win the game. And that's the kind of call right there against a defense like this that's not going to win you the game there. Draw something up there for your boy Jackson Smith and Jigma on that play, or find your tight end there and get you about 5 yards to get in that end zone. Not in love with that third down call, but hey, they're going to go for it on fourth down. I once heard if you find yourself having to go for it on fourth down, you're not doing so hot. Fourth down and having to go for 4 yards. Let's see what they do. Tight end goes in motion. Darnold gets the snap. Pressure coming. Throws it. Incomplete. Towards Cooper Kupp. Incomplete. Sam wants a flag. Not going to get that. That's the play you probably should have ran on third down, then on fourth down, take the field goal. I'll stand by that. It's the opening drive. Don't love that. As RC said, who do you think is going to win this game? In all honesty, I feel like the San Francisco 49ers are going to win this game here. San Francisco's been really good as of late, especially. Now they've got Kittle back. They understand what's on the line here. I believe, and you're telling me Sam Darnold's on the other side. Sam's had a great season, but in a clutch game, I got to go with San Francisco, especially at home. On top of that, give me San Francisco. But I'm expecting this one to be a very close game all the way to the end. SM says Falcons and Saints deciding the winner of the NFC South is poetic for that division, right? Absolutely. That's exactly what I thought about as well. I was like, ain't that a shame? So basically, the Falcons got to determine who's going to win the division and the Saints, even though it's not going to benefit either of those teams. Imagine that. The stadium is going to be filled not with Saints and Falcon fans, but with Buccaneers and Panther fans at that stadium. That's wild. As says, yeah, yeah, those days, Cup used to be the man now. I will give him due for what he used to be, but he is clearly not that anymore. And again, we're on the commercial there. This was an opening drive in which it consisted of about 11 plays there. All of that work just to come away empty-handed. I mean, dang. I still feel like they should have drew something up for Cooper Kupp again towards the end of that drive there. At least try to throw it to your best player there, but these are the kind of plays they got to make. He says Salam's getting another head coaching job. 49ers defense is a bunch of no names. I feel like he deserves it. I feel like a lot of times as a coach, you learn so much from your first year. You know, your second opportunity is when we're really going to see, like, okay, especially if you had a terrible roster the first time. I mean, his only problem with the Jets, because I did feel like he was doing some positive stuff, is just he ended up with Zach Wilson. That's a formula for disaster for anybody. So I'd like to see him get another opportunity. All right, but how do you respond? So now we've got the San Francisco 49ers from their own 4 yard line, snaps the ball, feeds it to Christian McCaffrey. They've been riding him hard and often lately, but this time C-Mac's going to pick up 3 yards, they call it, on the carry. And again, this is San Francisco's first offensive possession of the game here. Mike, what's good? And Mike, what's got you upset? Talk to me. You said, how we lose to Baker? He stinks. I'll tell you how. I'll keep it a buck with you. They're not that good. That's exactly how it happens. They're not that good. But now it's all in the hands of the Saints and the Falcons to determine who gets in. See, that's the problem I have with, Bryce Young. And I really hope that Bryce Young proves me wrong one day. I'd be more than happy to come up here and say, hey, I was wrong about the kid. But what he's currently doing right now in Carolina, I feel like he does just good enough to keep expectations to where people think, okay, he's about to turn that curve, which is dangerous because that's the kind of quarterback that gets you fired no matter who the coach is. You come in, coach him 2 years and stuff like that, and then he starts off terrible, horrible. You want to bench him. Then all of a sudden he starts playing decent. Then he has up and down games. You just can't get consistency from him, you know? You have to have the perfect team around him. Even when he's winning games, it's not necessarily decisively because of him. It's just other guys around him just, carrying him. So that's my problem with him. And so I watched bits and pieces of it, Mike. I had watched some of it. When I saw that score 16-7, I figured it was a wrap then. So then I went and made some, errands and stuff like that. Then when I came back, saw it was close, but once I saw Tampa Bay able to move the ball the way they were, I knew Tampa was going to find a way to win. And just like that, the Seahawks will get the football back. So, but man, all right, let's see. Mike says, well, he plays like Montana twice a year. You said I flex on everyone, then you look like a clown. See, that's what I'm talking about. When he does stuff like that, two games out the year, people are gonna be like, man, I see why you still got this kid. Let's just give him a couple more pieces. But not a lot of people are gonna get fired along the way with that method. SM says 3-and-out by Purdy. So yeah, it happened so fast, I barely got to touch on it. And so Lefty, what's good? How are we? And Lefty says, JV, talk to me, man. How is everything going? And so, oh man, JB don't know the last time that I feel like it's been a minute since I've done an NFL game. I was looking at my most recent streams, and I feel like they were a bunch of college football ones, but here we are, Seahawks versus 49ers for this one. Who wants number one spot in the NFC? It's up for grabs. As see, Mike says, now two new playoff games tomorrow. Ravens versus Pittsburgh and Falcons versus the Saints, right? Even though it has nothing to do with them, but still, their impact, though, hey, it counts for something, right? Counts for something. But who do we want to see get in out of those? Obviously Carolina, Tampa Bay, and then the Ravens and the Steelers. Who do we want to see get in? Who's going to make for the most competitive games in the playoffs? And again, if you're just tuning in, appreciate you coming through. We're at the commercial right now. No worries. We're about to see the Seahawks with the football again. Last time they drove it down there, but ultimately they went for it on fourth down. I feel like they should have kicked the field goal. It's way too early in the game. Save the going for it there for later in the game. You kick the field goal, take the lead. All that great stuff. Let's see. Mike says the referee assistance is only used when FanDuel lets refs. Right? That's a fact, man. That's a fact. Lefty says nothing. You say heading back to work right now, but everything is great. Catch you later. Always great to see you, Lefty. You take care out there. Don't do anything that JB wouldn't do. Yes, see. Mike says they let all kinds of plays go. And you say, I'm the first to say in your face when someone's team loses, but it hits different when my teams lose. Hey, I understand. I understand you. I understand you completely there, Mike. And it's that time of year, honestly. It's that time of year. And also, if anybody in the chat's been paying attention to college basketball, let me know what exactly is going on. Who's like the top teams in men's college hoops right now? I looked down and saw a Michigan team that looked like they haven't lost a game so far this year, and they look pretty good because I think they beat down a pretty good USC team, I think yesterday. So would love to hear if anybody has any knowledge on college hoops and what's going on with that. All right, here we go. First quarter, 5 minutes and 52 seconds to go. Seahawks on their second possession. So run play for Kenneth Walker III, and Kenneth picks up 3 yards on the carry. So far in this one, Kenneth Walker, he has been doing a good job with his opportunities so far in this game between him and Charbonnet. I like what I'm seeing and how the Seahawks are utilizing their running back so far in this one. It just comes down to, hey, take these points. I know you want to score a touchdown every time there, but 3 points is better than no points. You never know later on in the game, you might be wishing you kicked those 3 points there, especially with a defense like they possess. 2nd and 7 here. Jackson Smith-Njigba goes in motion. Darnold looking. Darnold finds Jackson Smith-Njigba, who picks up 5 yards on the play. I'll tell you guys this. Jackson Smith-Njigba was definitely my most prized pick when it comes to just fantasy football this past year. I had a feeling he was going to be great. I wasn't sure if it was my bias from, him going to Ohio State. But, man, when I tell you the season that he had this year between him and Jonathan Taylor early in the season, oh, man, JB was happy. All right, here we go. 3rd and 2. Coming up for the Seattle Seahawks here. Again, can you move the chains? It's a run play, and Charbonnet gets to the outside, but he has more on his mind than that. There goes that man again. Touchdown, Seattle Seahawks. And that's Charbonnet breaking one loose for 27 yards and a touchdown. How about that? Seahawks strike first. Man. Mike says Patriots got good running backs. You could get let's see, Dottle, and he can do a flea flicker for no reason, and Bryce can stare at it. I'll tell you what, Mike. I love Travion Henderson. He's still got a little bit more I feel like in terms of just adjusting to the NFL, which he's doing a great job, but I feel like he can do even more consistently with the big plays. He's like a home run hitter, but against elite defenses, that won't happen. And I like Ramondre Stevenson when he holds onto the ball. He just got to hold onto the ball, honestly. But between those two running backs there, I feel like we're middle of the pack, but we're trending up. But next year, I think we've got to bring in an additional running back. I mean, we might bring back Antonio Gibson. I forgot about him. But he was good before he got hurt. But I get what you're saying, though. I get what you're saying. Let's see. You say T-Mac could be great in year two. I'm sorry, in a year or two. Needs to bulk up and be more aggressive and stuff. But yeah, I mean, wasn't bad, for a rookie year. But yeah, he'll continue to develop. Get used to being that guy. That's a good one there that Carolina has. He's a good one. You say, how good is Jigman? My friend says he's great the other day. How good is Jackson Smith and Jigma? That's an excellent question there. Let me see if I can pull up some stats there for you so I can, back it up and not sound like, I'm being biased. But how good is Jackson Smith and Jigma? Jackson Smith and Jigma is tremendous. The coldest receiver this season, I'll say that. And he's only going to continue to get better from his route running to his consistency to his big play ability and stuff. Whether it's double team coming his way, it matters not. Jackson Smith and Jigma is going to go out there and he's going to get you at least a good 80 yards receiving and a touchdown or two if you need it. Some games the Seahawks just haven't, needed it, but he is that guy. If I'm thinking of a cornerback that can shut him down, I don't think a cornerback in today's game, can do that, in all honesty. All right, let me see. And so SM said, oh man, Puka, the other receiver I had in my other fantasy football league, where SM says, JB, who's better, Jackson Smith and Jigma or Puka? Oh man, JB honestly would love to have either of those receivers there, but in all honesty, Jackson Smith and Jigma has to do it all, really without another big marquee receiver and stuff. So defenses know to key on him. Meanwhile, Puka, yes, he can do the same thing. He does have Devontae there, and he's got an excellent, consistent quarterback in Matthew Stafford. I love both of them. They're 1A, 1B, but 1A for me right now, because he's going to continue to trend up, is Jackson Smith and Jigma. Puka has, the injury concern. He's going to probably miss about 2, 3, 4 games a year, but Jackson Smith and Jigma, I love what I see with him. It's just hard to pick someone ahead of him right now, but I love both of those receivers. You can't go wrong with any of them. If someone argues that Puka's better, I would probably agree if they have, a good enough reason. So yeah, those are my receivers there. All right, but let's see. But yeah, looking at so far this year for Jackson Smith and Jigma, he's got 113 catches for over 1,700 yards and 10 receiving touchdowns. So let that sink in there, Mike. Over 1,700. That's impressive. That's impressive. That is impressive. So let's see. Laney says, "Hey JB, I'm still here, but I'm washing dishes, just listening for a while." All right, appreciate the update. Let's see. Mike says Xavier Leggett stinks, and so yeah, I kept him off my fantasy board unless it would have been like maybe the last round if I felt like it made sense there. But yeah, fantasy, I was not targeting him for that reason. I just could not trust in him right now. But who knows? Maybe one day it might wake up, but it might have to be a different team. All right, 2nd and 8. Purdy on the move, and he gets brought down there for the sack and to lose about 2 yards in that sack. Now the 49ers, 3rd down coming up. This is really tough for them right now to get things going here against the Seattle Seahawks defense. When I think of this defense, you got to think about how good this secondary is. And then after that, they're pretty good against the run too. They are ultimately a great team. Let's see, Mike says, you wonder if Jackson's a top 5 receiver? I'll say yes. I will adamantly say yes. Jackson Smith and Jigma, from what he's shown this season, yes. to JB, he is a top 5 receiver. All right, 3rd and 9. Purdy feeling the rush, gets the pass out. He's caught by the receiver, and he's going to be about a yard shy of that first down marker. And just like that, the 49ers will have to punt once again. Let's see, Mike says, I think I read tight end Cardinals is the top. And so, yeah, he's definitely the top, receiving tight end, for sure. Because, I mean, he's basically out there like a receiver in all honesty. The way that they use him, he is target number 1. So love him. I also love Michael Wilson. Now, I was a little high on Michael Wilson, probably a little too early, especially for fantasy football purposes, because I remember the first year that he was in the league, I drafted him like super late, thinking, okay, if this guy, if he gets some opportunities and stuff. But what I've seen from him this year with Jacoby Brissett, hey, Michael Wilson, watch out for him next year. Let's see, Mike says 1,700. What in the world? Yeah, Mike, he's that legit. He's that legit. He's that guy. Like every time he goes out there, run routes and stuff, you just know that he is him. Mike says, my number 1, A.J. Brown, fell off a bit. And so, well, A.J. Brown, I don't know, between him, even Devontae Smith, I know that they're better than what's going on. But how do you get inside the mindset of a guy? Because I have no doubt if those 2 players were to be removed and sent to another team, they would show up to be, the guys we know them to be. So I'm like, what's really going on? Is this more of a Jalen Hurts, thing that's going on with these guys? Because both of these guys flatline at the same time. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. But something's going on down there. But we'll see if they figure it out in the playoffs, because the great ones do. So all you got to do is get in. They're in. We'll see what happens from there. But maybe it's a Jalen Hurts thing. All right, let's see. Mike says, Xavier Leggett, no route tree. Only chance is get him a coach who will yell, do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Oh man, Mike, they should hire you just to say that on the sideline throughout all training camp. And if any player gets upset, it's like that's your bonus incentive, to get X amount of players fired up because they want to see these guys there. I mean, make no mistake, Xavier Leggett, I know he's got ability, but how many guys have we seen come through this league that they've had ability, but they just never reach it? I was certain that my boy Calvin Benjamin back in the day was going to end up being a good wide receiver, and I was wrong. I was wrong on quite a few receivers. I've actually slowed it down on my speculations when it comes to receivers, but a guy like Xavier Leggett there, I don't know how you fix that. I really don't know how you fix that. Because a veteran quarterback is not going to want to go out there with a receiver that can't go out there and get separation. So I don't know how you fix that. All right, from their own 18-yard line here, the Seattle Seahawks, having scored a touchdown their last time out there, they lead this one 7-0 here in the first quarter with 2 minutes and 26 seconds to go. It's a run play. Kenneth Walker, the third. Kenneth moving. He looks like he did back in his Michigan State days. This was the Kenneth Walker, the third, that I remember seeing back in the Big Ten. I remember it vividly. He had a very strong year. But look at that. I love the way that he's running. And this is certainly a great sign if you're the Seahawks here. This is what you want to see more of, especially in the playoffs. In the playoffs, it comes down to defense and being able to run that football. Mike says Xavier Leggett is Mingo 2.0. First and 10. Woo, what a nice miss. You might have just got back to line of scrimmage, gained half a yard there, but that was a nice miss to avoid a player that's trying to end your career out there. So, excellent move. But 2nd and 9 coming up here in the first quarter with $1:30 to go in this one. Seahawks up 7-0. Seahawks with the football. But what will they do with it? Mike says Calvin Benjamin had so much talent, And so, yes, but how many guys do we see come in with so much talent? That's the difference that's why it's so important to understand what makes a player go, what motivates them, what drives them. Because, I've seen so many guys come in, like Tavon Austin. He had undoubtedly a lot of talent as well, big expectations. But, what drives a guy? Is he a film rat? Is he someone that you got to beg to get in the weight room? Someone that, during his free time, does he spend extra time working out or just, talking football? Does he enjoy the game of football? That's so important. Some of these players play football because they're good at it, not because they enjoy it. Does he really enjoy it? There's so many X factors that are so important to determine about a guy before you, select him to be on your team. All right, this should be the last play of the quarter, and it's Charbonnet on the carry. Picks up 1 yard on the play. SM says, if Seahawks win, the Rams are the 5th seed. If they beat the Cardinals, 49ers would go to Philly. Ooh, what a matchup that would be. San Fran versus Philly. In Philly. Wow. Wow. All right, guys. JB needs y'all help with something, okay? Because I'm seeing reports, and you know what they say. If there's smoke, there's flames and stuff. So, all right, you guys tell me, 'cause I didn't watch that many Jackson Dart games here, but was Jackson Dart really bad enough for the Giants to consider moving on from him? Or is it just the amount of concussions that he's had that's a concern there? I mean, you guys tell me. Because I keep seeing things about maybe they should trade, off from him and stuff, So you guys tell me what's going on with the Jackson Dart situation. I thought everybody loved him at first, but I don't know what's going on. I see Mike says Eagles will crush the 49ers. And so, I mean, if they can just get Saquon going for that playoffs. All right, so let's see. Mike says that Dart is him. He got gianted. So is this a situation where maybe Jackson Dart needs to go somewhere else to ever reach his full potential? Because I mean, you got neighbors there. That I love that, and it's got to be in the backfield between the two of them, and then also Dart. I mean, I think that's a nice three-headed monster when these guys, mature and continue to get some help around them. But you guys let JB know. This is one area right here where I need you guys to educate JB. All right, meanwhile, we are here at the commercial. Let's see, SM says the Giants are bluffing. They want to trade out. Okay. Hey, they're getting started with the whole bluff stuff. That's for sure. And if you guys were NFL GMs and stuff like that for either a team like the Raiders or just pick any team that needs a quarterback, which quarterback would you guys be trying to aim for? Is it clear-cut Mendoza, or perhaps is it Dante Moore, or maybe even someone else in a later round? But if you were a GM over a team that needs a quarterback and you want to bring in a young quarterback, what quarterbacks would you guys be eyeing? And bonus if you guys can spot out a good mid to late round quarterback that might actually develop and turn into the guy. Let's see, Mike says, only good thing about Dart is it's unknown. It concerns me the amount of concussions he has. I feel like if you take away the concussions and stuff, I like what he can do. I mean, I feel like he'll just be one of those quarterbacks. Some days he might use his arm, other days he might use his legs and stuff. Between him, Scottaboo getting the team going crazy, Malik Neighbors making big plays, and assuming that they maintain a guy like, Rain Robinson and stuff, Wydell Robinson. We'll see how that plays out. They got some young pieces, though. You say when Neighbors went down, Dart stunk it up. That is true. That is true. And if you guys are the Minnesota Vikings and you're looking for a quarterback to come in and compete with JJ McCarthy and stuff and legitimately compete to try to win that job, who are some veteran quarterbacks you guys want to call and either see if they're available or if you know they're going to be a free agent, then pick them up? All right, 2nd and 15 here for the Seahawks. Quick throw. Jackson Smith and Jigma gets away from the first person. Works the sideline. Still running. How does he do it? How does he do it? Like only Jackson Smith and Jigma can. Did he really stay in bounds? Oh my goodness. Jackson Smith and now they're saying that he stepped out. Let's see. JB will let you know. Still in bounds. Still in bounds. Still in bounds. What about now? Still in bounds. Still in bounds. Oh, he did touch down, but he got the first down though. Oh man, if it wasn't for the back of that heel, my guy. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Let's see, Mike says, I would run for the hills from Dart with injury. He sound like Tua. Ooh, you compare somebody to Tua, JB's already uninterested. Already uninterested. So, let's see, 1st and 10. And gets the first down. That's sharpening on the carry. All right, so Seahawks moving and grooving now. Let's see, SM says, JB, do you think Dante Moore is declaring? I think he is. I honestly think he is. I mean, when you're a quarterback and you get an opportunity to go 1 or 2, you take that opportunity unless it's a situation that's really bad, but you don't know how the next year is going to go. You go ahead and take that opportunity if I'm him. So I think he will. When it's all said and done, I think he will. I've got no insiders other than just, hey, I think the kid wants a shot at the next level. All right, 1st and 10. Darnold. Moving. Darnold needs help. Darnold throws it away. Sometimes throwing it away is the right call. Don't put it in harm's way. Your team is up 7-0. Don't turn the ball over. Excellent decision to throw the ball away. Sometimes you got to know when they say, all right, that's enough. RC says, big high stakes in this game right here. Yes, the chips, they don't get much bigger than that in the regular season. 3 seconds right now in the play clock. Snaps the ball. Feeds it to Kenneth Walker III. Kenneth Walker III runs into some trouble. Gets down in the backfield. 3rd down coming up here in the 2nd quarter with 13 minutes and 45 seconds to go. I got to say this. The Seahawks are doing an excellent job of controlling the time of possession so far in this game, and that's going to continue to pay off as this game goes on and on and on. SM says, Donald and Daniel Jones are the same guy, right? They're like twins, just about. But tell me this, SM, if you're the Indianapolis Colts, what are you doing about the quarterback position for next year? Are you bringing Daniel Jones back? And if so, how many years are we talking? And are you still slick looking for another quarterback? Meanwhile, oh man, that's going nowhere. All right, we got a 4th down coming up. Percy said, JB, what's your feelings about this game after a seemingly mundane first quarter with 1 score? I think we'll get more scores eventually, especially San Francisco. At some point, they're going to remember that they got George Kittle and try to find a way to get him the football. But right now, this is telling me that the Seahawks, they want it. They want it. But they've got to go ahead and capitalize on these opportunities for when San Francisco does come out in the second half and start scoring. Meanwhile, he missed it. He missed it. Wow. He missed the field goal. So right now, the Seahawks, they missed this field goal. And let's not forget the opening drive when they were in the red zone and they had an opportunity where they could have tried for the field goal there. So that's at least 6 points left on the table right there that the Seahawks could have had in this one. We'll see if that bites them on later. But you don't want to play that game with the San Francisco 49ers. Because once they get going, look out. Let's see, Mike says, if you're going to be a top pick, my advice is go back to college and risk it all like Barkley. That way you go in the 4th. There you go, Mike giving advice. And he says, Cousins to Minnesota. Does Minnesota really want that to happen? Shoot, because it was funny for me because I stepped in the store earlier at TJ Maxx and I saw, a Kirk Cousins, couple Kirk Cousins posters and stuff. And I was like, dang, so y'all not even going to put up Michael Penix Jr.? Y'all putting up Kirk Cousins and stuff? And so But would he be the answer to go back to Minnesota? I know they want someone to come in and compete, but I don't know. I don't know. It's tough. But if Cousins is open to the idea and wants to go back, then if you want somebody to really push, McCarthy, then maybe. Maybe. But how would that fare with the fans? Who knows? SRC said, JB, I have a good reason for my in and out YouTube hiatus since early December. And so, oh, I believe you. I believe you. Let's see, Mike says, oh, Panthers will be in the playoffs and they will get absolutely wrecked. You would think so. You would think so. But based upon how history goes, because I remember years ago, was it with the Seahawks? Yeah, with the Seahawks, when Marshawn Lynch came into the scene that year, I believe it wasn't they like 8-8 or something like that, and they won the division, the Seattle Seahawks, and then that's when Beast Mode unleashed in the playoffs against the Saints, if I'm not mistaken. And it was that game that really elevated Beast Mode to his full potential. So maybe they won't get wrecked if they got in. Maybe they will. It depends on who they play. It depends on who they play. Okay, so you say R. Burrow. And so my guy, Joe Burrow. Let's see, RC says he had personal, mental, and physical problems that caused you to take a break from the internet. And so certainly understand that. And sometimes you got to step away just to give yourself that time to hit that reset button, especially when life is giving you so much there. So JB fully understands that, does it himself from time to time. But I feel like every YouTuber has to take time just to, reset, really, get that energy back. Right, and that time they found George Kittle, I knew it was just a matter of time before they started getting Kittle involved. He is that X factor once you get him going. SM says Jones, the Colts' only option because they went all in with the Sauce trade. You're right. You are right about that. You bring up a good thing about that. So I wonder, and I'm gonna see during halftime if I can look up some of the prospects that may potentially be in the upcoming draft there. But maybe there's an option that you draft a guy that has a similar build later on in the draft. Because I don't know where all the experts are saying that a guy like, maybe, well, I don't even know if Drew Lars coming out or not. I really forget what year he's in and stuff. But a guy like that, would he be worth considering, later, middle of the draft or something like that? Or maybe, what about Cade Klubnik? What are the experts saying about him, from Clemson? So I wonder about some of those options where maybe you can get a guy, let's say fourth round or something like that to develop, if that's the scenario that you want to take behind Daniel Jones. All right, there we go. 1st and 10. Throws it short and does not get back to the line of scrimmage. How about that Seahawks defense? 11 minutes to go here in the second quarter playing against Seattle up 7-0. But San Francisco with the football right now, trying to find themselves in this one and just get their feet up under them right now. Let's see. RC says, I've had 2 out of my 4 kids since December 28th. I will have them until this upcoming Monday. Okay. That's got to feel nice there. Okay. And oh man, Monday is when everybody's basically going to be going back to school and stuff. Oh man. Oh man. Was that Jerron Jennings, I think, trying to go up for the catch there? But man, Thomas lit him up and he's slow to get up. But he does get up. And again, no Ricky Parcel in this one there. So this is huge news here for San Francisco if he gets banged up in this one. But yeah, he got slung to the ground there, was unable to make the catch. All right, so we got a 3rd down coming up here. 3rd and 11 for the San Francisco 49ers here in the second quarter, 10 minutes and 27 seconds to go. Can San Francisco get a 1st down and keep this drive going, or will the Seahawks get a stop here? And will Seattle bring pressure? All right, 3 receivers, 1 tight end, 1 back. They motion Christian McCaffrey. All right, gets the snap. Purdy on the move. Purdy running, still running. And he's going to be about a yard and a half shy of that 1st down marker, but a nice job to run and get what you can. Now you make it 4th and 1, and now there are some decisions to be made here for San Francisco. All right, so the analytics say go for it on 4th and 1. I agree with the call there. All right, here we go. 2 seconds. Purdy. Up, they're going to stop the clock here. RC says, JB, I need to chill out before I turn into old man Phillip Rivers. Well, I'll tell you what, RC, if you get the call by the NFL and they want you to go out there and quarterback, you let JB know. Because if you go out there and quarterback, I will personally go out there and be a wide receiver and make sure that you at least get a couple completions. So you say, JB, but I do have a son on the way in 2 months. Oh, man, it's going to be in 2 months. Oh, man. Oh, man, RC. Congratulations. And hey, cannot wait to hear when you tell me that your son has made it into this world. And also, the whole process of coming up with a name and stuff like that, it's always so interesting how we, come up with different names and stuff. So fun process there, fun process. And you say your birthday is in March? Oh wow, that's perfect there. That's perfect. That is perfect. 4th and 1 there. Purdy feeling a rush. Purdy just throws it up there and it's incomplete. Incomplete. So that does it on 4th down. So on 4th down there, you just need a yard. And you drop back the pass against a team that you know can generate some pressure there. Try to catch him off guard. But yeah, no one was catching that. You're asking your fullback to fight for that. And even if he makes the catch, there's nothing he can do. So Seahawks with the opportunity now when we come back to go out there offensively and see if they can add to their lead. Again, they're up 7-0 in this one. So not as much scoring so far as I anticipated this game would be. And I know I asked the question earlier, but if you guys want to let JB know, when it comes to college basketball right now, if you guys want to let JB know the top 3 teams in men's college hoops right now, let JB know your top three teams in men's college hoops. I've not been following it that closely yet, but I am seeing notifications of final scores and stuff like that. So I'd love to hear from you guys who the top 3 teams are right now at this moment. All right, SM says, JB, I only watch college ball in March Madness. So SM's a little bit like JB, although for me, I will typically start once we get to like the conference tournaments because I love watching the Big Ten conference tournament. I absolutely love how everything is set up, bracket wise for college hoops to where even if you're having a terrible season, you still have motivation to go out there and play because if you can win, say for example, that Big Ten conference tournament or whatever conference tournament, you can still find a path to get in there. There's so many teams and stuff. So absolutely love that time of year. So typically once we get to the conference games, that's when JB's like, all right, time to get invested. Let's see, Mike says, no idea, JB. Bet, bet, bet. Tell me this, Mike. In the playoffs, in the first round, in the wild card round, who do you want your Buffalo Bills to play? of the potential teams that realistically it could potentially be, who are you hoping your Buffalo Bills get to play against? Essence said, Duke has Carlos Boozer's son. Oh man, Carlos Boozer. I have not heard that name since he robbed us blind with the Lakers and stuff like that with all that money we were paying him. Him, Luol Deng, all those guys, man, they were just taking checks from us, man. Oh man, that was an era I tried to forget. Oh man. But that time, Jackson Smith and Jigma doing what he does. Look at that. Two guys on him. Third guy drops back, and he gives you so much space to throw him the ball. I mean, everything about this kid's game is smooth. Absolutely love throwing it to him. 8 minutes and 50 seconds to go here in the second quarter of play. Again, the Seahawks up 7-0. They're going to run the ball here off the left side, and Charbonnet's going to pick up 2 yards on the play. And RC says the name we have for him are Preston, Ermias, he said Christian, Karas, and the names we have for him are Paris, Preston, Christian, Karas, Nifi, and Ashton. Okay, Lord. Ashton Martin there. SM says Seattle could be running away with this game if they just took the points. I mean, they tried the last time. They just did not make the field goal. But you're right. That first time down there, I fully thought they should have went ahead and kicked that field goal. You just never know how the game's going to play out early on. You take the 3 points. Let's see. Mike says he wants the season to end now. You say Worst D and Allen can't hit open receivers. Wide open. And so, oh, man. Dang, Mike, it's like that. No hope that this team figures it out in the playoffs. All right, 3rd and 4. Darnold. Oh, man, Darnold sees the ghosts, but he's going to run and get the first down. At least he's learned to do that. That's nice because that thing broke down there, and Darnold took off like a man that saw something he wished he hadn't. These Armias like that is actually, well, that was Nipsey Hussle's real name. And Mike says probably Steelers. Okay, probably the Steelers there. So you don't want to play Lamar Jackson in Baltimore? Or should I say King Henry in Baltimore? You say our quarterback passed like Burrow with tons of confidence. And so I like that about him. I like when a quarterback has confidence. And it's not like he came in with vain confidence, because just like Burrow, early in his career, he did experience some struggles, but that confidence never wavered. It continued to be the same. And that's how you know you got yourself a guy that's going to get better, because he still believes in his ability and he's going to do whatever it takes to reach his potential as he continues to learn more and more of the game. But yeah, naturally, cool, collective, especially against the blitz. Especially against the blitz. That's yes. And so speaking of Patriots quarterbacks, where do you think Mac Jones winds up next year? If Mac Jones goes on a move next year, it is going to be because he ends up going to perhaps Minnesota to compete with JJ McCarthy for that job. Because they're going to want someone that's going to come in on a cheap contract, but also has, they know that if they need him to start, he can, So I could see him going somewhere to compete in that type of situation. But honestly, I feel like the best case scenario would be for him to stay put, but we know how that goes. If they don't make dollars, it don't make sense. So therefore, I can see Minnesota as an option. That's the only team that comes to mind that I can think of. Anywhere else, is he aiming to be a backup there? At least there, I feel like he could compete, for a job. Not saying that he would win it, but he can compete. SM says Zoe would probably hate that. I mean, hey, I'm pretty sure when the Vikings signed Sam Darnold, the year before, and I'm sorry, not Sam Darnold, well, also him, but when they signed, in addition to Sam Darnold, when they signed Daniel Jones, I'm pretty sure he wasn't too thrilled about that. But after what I've seen these last 2 seasons and stuff, hey, that's the move they need to make right there. You bring in someone that's a competitor. If he loses the competition, he's still gonna be positive, but he comes in with that, hey, you give me some talent, you give me some time, I learn the system, and I can go out there and at least execute the play. You won't have to worry about Justin Jefferson being upset. I can feed him the ball, and that's something that right now we don't know if JJ McCarthy can do, in all honesty. So, but yeah, it probably would piss him off. So that would be an extra bonus. So I slick want to see that happen. All right, 2nd and 4 here for the Seattle Seahawks. Run play off the right guard. Kenneth Walker III gets the first down at the 20-yard line here of the Seattle Seahawks. But wait a minute, there is a penalty right now. Again, we're here in the second quarter, 6 minutes and 19 seconds. Seahawks up 7-0. So if you took the over in this game right now, you are probably holding rocks, wondering if you should throw them at your car windshield or not. JB does not recommend that, but definitely feel the frustration there if you took the over in this game. That's right. I remember Bell from North Dakota State. All right, so here goes the Seahawks darting up under center, dropping back the pass, looking, throws it, gets the completion there to your tight end. 3rd down coming up here. So it's 3rd down and manageable. So we're looking at a 3rd and 6 here in the second quarter with 5 minutes and 50 seconds to go. Number 1 spot on the line. SM said if they have another bad year, Justin's asking for a trade. They have to stabilize their quarterback situation. And so, I'll say this, SM, GMs, and the people that work in NFL offices, they are confident people, They believe, oh man, what? Oh, dangerous throw there. You better be lucky that Jackson Smith and Jigma just broke that one up, basically. Dangerous throw there. But like I was saying, NFL execs, they think highly of themselves. They believe that when they draft a guy, the last thing they want to do is admit, like, hey, we might have made a mistake on this kid. So they'll be very hesitant to do that. But think about it, ever since he's been in the league, the first year, he got hurt in the preseason for the year. This year, he was hurt, coming back. At one point, the fans wanted Carson Wentz. Listen to that. They wanted Carson Wentz in there over J.J. McCarthy, the handoff merchant. I mean, I get it. McCarthy may have some of the most wonderful handoffs you'll ever see, but that ain't going to cut it. That ain't going to cut it. That is not going to cut it. So between the injuries and just you can't get the ball to your number 1 receivers. That's your number 1 job. You can't feed him. You can't feed Hawkinson at all. And so it's like, hey, what can you do? What can you do? Because when they had Sam I Am, those guys were getting fed. The offense was executing the way it's supposed to be, and you're wasting the talent of these guys. And as you mentioned, Justin Jefferson has no reason to wait this out long term because the good things doesn't happen. I've only seen one patient elite receiver throughout most of his career, and that was back in the day when Hopkins was with the Houston Texans. You know what? I should say two, because I feel like Andre Johnson basically didn't mind wasting his career away with the Houston Texans because he was loyal to the organization up until the very end. He just took out his frustration on guys like, Courtland Finnegan and whatnot. But that being said, yeah, they got to figure this out. They got to figure this out. Now, how do you go about doing that? Be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself if you're the Minnesota Vikings. Is J.J. McCarthy the guy? Even if you like him, will he be the guy in the next 2 seasons? And if you don't think he'll become that guy in the next 2 seasons, you don't have longer than that. Your job's going to be done. So find you someone, if possible, that can come in And as you say, stabilize that position and get this team back in the playoffs so that way you guys aren't swimming in, boiling water. Mike says, I like your previous quarterback to Minnesota. So, I mean, yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. If I'm an NFL GM, I can write that check for Mac Jones there. I can make it a 2-year deal. And it's not going to be expensive at all there because I'm basically giving him a backup contract. And then from there, yeah, let's go ahead and, let's really evaluate, how they look in camp, And then, hey, if Mac Jones wins the job there, will we be a 14-win team? No. Will we be a 12-win team? Probably not. But maybe we can still make the playoffs, possibly with him at the quarterback, especially if they get into the zone. You make the right draft picks, guys around them. Defense returns to an elite level. That's the key. The defense has to return to an elite level, and then we can just get a decent quarterback to come in and stabilize that position. That's what they can do. SM says Josh Rosen. Oh man, Josh Rosen was another kid that I thought when he was in college, I thought he was going to actually come in and have a good NFL career, but his attitude, his mindset prevented him from reaching that potential. But again, we're here in the second quarter of 5 minutes and 19 seconds going. The Seahawks leading this one 10-0, but they've left some points on the table. And one has to think if the 49ers get things going here, they might regret that. But let's see, the way the defense is playing, maybe it won't matter. But you kick it out of bounds like that, yes, that's going to matter. That's going to matter. Let's see, Mike says Jets need a quarterback and an O-line. The Jets need a generational coach. When I say the Jets need a generational coach, you're like, well, JB, what do you mean? The Jets need someone that's going to change life for that organization from a culture perspective, the same way that the Indiana Hoosiers now have a coach that has completely changed the way that they operate. I mean, I'm talking about they got to do some soul searching there. How can you fix the New York Jets? That is not an easy task to do. That is not an easy task to do because this is an organization that is used to being bad. I mean, other than a couple of times up under Rex Ryan and stuff like that, but even he established his own culture. It was a culture of running your mouth regardless of what was going to happen. But hey, they all fell behind it. The guys they had, they liked it. But the Jets first need a culture. Then you go ahead and fix the defense because you gave away all your, most of your young pieces and stuff. Fix that defense so you don't give up 6 passing touchdowns to Trevor Lawrence and stuff, and continue to, work that offense. Ruin Breece Hall's career, basically, and then just stop. I don't want to see them draft another quarterback and then ruin another young quarterback because they've got nothing to give the kid. All right, 2nd and 16, throws it. Short completion for about 2-3 yards to Christian McCaffrey. Black medicine in the building. What's good? What's good? You said UCLA hasn't had a relevant NFL quarterback in a while. And so, oh yeah. SM says Jets need everything. And so you ain't lying, SM. You ain't lying. They need a call to the altar first and foremost. They need everybody to just void all their guaranteed money so they can just drop everybody. Just start it all over. All right, 3rd and 10. Purdy eludes the rush, throws it, and gets the completion to Jawan Jennings, who's escorted out of bounds, but gets the first down. That is something that they needed right now because that offense was looking pretty bad right now. So they finally get a first down. Let's see if that gives them an opportunity to get some points here before halftime. Let's see, Simon says, yesterday night game, Mississippi State lost. And so Mississippi State lost, but I know you're happy about Ole Miss getting a W. Black Man says, I think I remember seeing that Rosen was an investment banker or advisor or something. Oh, man, I wouldn't have that guy advise me for nothing. Absolutely nothing. But, man, if that's the case, man. Oh, man, went from being the Rosen one to just completely. It didn't take them long at all to move on from him. 1 year, they seen enough. And that was it. That was it. All right, 2nd and 4. All right. Play fake, sees the rush, throws it, and gets it to George Kittle. Not a bad decision at all, and Kittle gets the first down. 2 minutes and 30 seconds left to go here before halftime. 49ers with the football, but they trail 10-0. Let's see. Mike says, please move on from Tua. As he Black Mason says, he got the perfect last name for that field. Let's see. Samuel says, why Ohio State game win? And so you must be talking about college hoops. Samuel, you must be talking about college hoops. Black Mason says, tank for Tua was a failed project. Brian Flores tried to say it. He tried to say it without saying it. When he wanted to keep Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's like, hey, I'm not so sure about that. You're like, I'm not so sure about that. You say, Samuel trolling, you know it. You know it. You know it. Way to make JB have a flashback of the terrible ending to 2025 for his team. Let's see, SM said, it's going to be quarterback musical chairs this offseason. Yes, it will be. It will be. I mean, oh man. And not only that, I mean, how much longer will Matthew Stafford continue to play? You know, the Rams really need to start thinking about that contingency plan like immediately at that position. Steelers would be wise to think about a quarterback for the future as well. And I feel like somebody is going to end up trading for Kyler Murray. I wish that on no fan base for what I think they're going to get from there in return. But hey, if that's something the Jets want to do, feel free to go for it. I still don't understand to this day why the New York Jets thought that going for Justin Fields when he got benched last year in favor of Russell Wilson would have been a bright idea. I saw no indication to make me believe that anything was going to be different. You add him to the Jets of all teams. It's not like you had something really nice set up. You added him to the Jets. And I'm like, wait, what? So you had a terrible situation with the Bears before they reloaded and, you know, got the offensive line, got the coach they got now. But when Justin Fields was with the Bears, they had a bad offensive situation there. Pittsburgh really had nothing. So I really do not understand their decision making with some of the things that they have done. But that's why the Jets are the Jets. RC said, JB, I got 1,400 subs, but I remain not monetized. How do you have 1,400 subs and you're not monetized? He said, a little bit rattling, but I will still keep pressing. Well, you know what? It's probably the watch hours, isn't it? It's the watch hour requirement that's holding you back. Because I was like, 1,400 subs and not monetized. He said, what's wrong with Brock Purdy, JB? Fill me in, broski. And so, oh, man. Well, I mean, it's not just Brock Purdy. Seattle's defense is built like that. If you pay attention to the Seattle Seahawks defensively this year, unless you're just an elite quarterback that was elevated and having an MVP caliber season the way that Matthew Stafford was when they played against the Seahawks and stuff, it's going to be tough for any quarterback outside the top 10 against the Seahawks secondary. They have done an excellent job at building that secondary. You know, which is why they're going to be extremely dangerous, especially if they're at home and the 12th man is involved in that playoffs in the NFC going down to Seattle. But yeah, they've got a tremendous secondary, tremendous defense in general. So that is what's going on with Brock Purdy. You know, he got the feast against some teams lately that really wasn't that great against the pass. This team is. And right now, they're just trying to feed it to the running back, get something going here. But Christian McCaffrey, even Christian McCaffrey's not able to run on this defense right now. So this is just a testament of how good this Seahawks defense truly is. Oh, wow. George Kittle has more career receptions with the 49ers than Terrell Owens does at this point. Interesting. But yeah, who's going to catch Jerry Rice? That's the question. SM says Flores should get another head coach job. He should, but get one with the right team. Wait, 49ers doing a trick play. All that to pick up. Not even a first down. He's a yard short. But man, they tried a trick play. Here in the second quarter with 1 minute and 17 seconds to go. Samuel says, Ohio State next time playoffs. You say we got him next time. Let's see, Blackman said, I reported Caleb DeVar's government this morning, told them that he might be connected to Venezuela somehow. We'll see on what they do with that information. Oh, man. Let's see. And it's the watch hours. Let's see. Third and 3 for the 49ers. Purdy feeling the rush. Purdy trying to run. Purdy, oh, gets tripped up there. Back at the line of scrimmage there. For a second, I thought he might have had a crease, but just like that, it closed. And now, fourth down coming up with 1:09 to go. But thanks to the Seahawks leaving some points on the table, if you're San Francisco and you can come away with 3 points and make it a one-score game, that's not a bad deal. Let's see, Mike says, JB, break down the Browns mess, please. Oh, man. Where do I begin with the Cleveland Browns? I mean, for the Cleveland Browns, I'm not going to sit here and say the Cleveland Browns are an absolute dog pile like they've looked this season. You know, because if you look back 2 years ago, was the Browns not in contention? I'm trying to remember. 2 years ago, I think the Browns were in contention for, you know, just almost a playoff team, I feel like. When this team is fully healthy, if they just have a quarterback in which Shedeur Sanders, will he be that quarterback? I don't know. But I'm in favor of giving the kid a chance to prove it next year for a full season with a coach that, you know, actually, I don't know, likes the kid. You know, let's see how that plays out. Got to give him some better receivers, though. Got to give him some better receivers there. Jerry Jeudy, he likes to take time off, you know. I hate to say it about the guy because I know he's got potential, but he likes to take time off. Meanwhile, the field goal, it is good. So 10-3 is the score. And so, but I like what the Browns have at tight end because now you've got 2 tight ends that can, you know, run block, they can catch. That's wonderful. You let Shedeur get comfortable another year in this, you know, with the offense and the starters and stuff. Get them some more receivers, especially, you know, a true 2 receiver, true number 1, all that stuff. And then in the backfield, you know, I love what they, you know, have with their young running backs in the backfield. So another year they should, you know, ramp it up there. So offensively, I feel like they can improve. Defensively, they've got to have a top 5, top 10 defense, which they've got a great defense already. Everybody's just got to stay healthy for the entire season there. So I don't think the Browns are that far away from fixing, but they must get the right head coach. Like if you're to tell me that Brian Flores is going to go be the head coach of the Cleveland Browns, I'm clapping because that means, okay, Cleveland, you're going to see some improvements there. A guy like that whose voice is going to come in, be the voice of reason. You know what he can do on a defense. Browns have a good defense there, but he will have that team competing hard, you know, all season. And who knows, they might even win, you know, 9 games or something like that with him, which would be a start in the right direction. So I don't feel like it's as bad a situation as if we're talking about what the Jets got and stuff. But I tell you what, though, the Deshaun Watson stuff, I don't know where they stand with that situation, but that's certainly a situation. That's why you got to stick with Shedeur. You know, he's going to be cheap, and he has that potential. So let's see what he can do next year. He's the hope of this franchise. All right, so we got a minute here before halftime, and Sam I am Darnold. Tonight, he is 9 of 12 for 89 yards passing. Cooper Kupp goes in motion in the slot from our own 35-yard line. Darnold looking. Darnold feeling the rush. Darnold brought down for a sack. Darnold be looking around the pocket like he's a guy that's working at McDonald's and has no idea how to work the intercom or anything. Has no idea what he's doing back there. When you feel the rush like that, I mean, there's got to be someone you can check that ball down to. He felt the rush. He just doesn't know what to do with it. Look at his eyes. The moment he felt that rush, eyes come down, trying to run. And Darnold throws it short this time, caught by the tight end there. And he goes down about the 39-yard line. Seahawks have no timeouts. Just go ahead and let this one go to the halftime. All right, 3 seconds. Yeah, just let this one run out. And they're going to go to halftime here. So at halftime, Seahawks lead this one 10-3, but the San Francisco 49ers will get the football first at halftime. Let's see. Mike says, might be solution. Looks like they might move on from old coach. They have to. They have to. The fans don't believe in him. And anytime the quarterback who the fans adore in this situation and the coach doesn't like him, you got to go in and bring in a coach that can help develop, you know, Shedeur Sanders, or at least believes in the kid and can bring, you know, in a coordinator that can help. So this is the guys you got. Because of the mistakes that the Browns have made in the past, this is the path that they have to take and hope that it works out. And if it doesn't, it's okay. Another year to continue building around and stuff like that. Get the tools. Go out there, grab another receiver, possibly even two, that can actually go out there, ball out, stabilize the offensive line, make sure Shador has time, fill in the gaps on defense. And there you go. Use this year for that. You've already got Shador. No need to go out there and do anything drastic. And not only that, I know Watson's still up under contract, all that stuff. So you're good. You're good. You drafted two young quarterbacks. You're good. And you say Darnold is a first round flunky. Oh man. All right. So JB's gonna step out for a second, but I will be right back. I will be back. We is and we are here at halftime. We got about 10 minutes before the second half resumes. Have you guys seen any interesting news regarding the transfer portal in college football since that door has been opened? I'm seeing some things that indicate that former Florida's quarterback DJ Lagway could be heading to the Florida State Seminoles. And so that would be interesting for DJ to go to the Florida State Seminoles. I wonder if they can help him reach his full potential. All right, again, just waiting for the second half. Let's see. He said he's looking at he's looking at Kentucky. Hmm, interesting. He said injury and bad year, but that would be interesting if he went to Kentucky. That would be. All right, let's see. Let's see. You said was supposed to be quarterback. You said UFL rollout is weird. All new coaches. You know what? I've heard something about the changing of all these coaches and stuff. The UFL. What's up with that? Samuel's trolling with my Patriots. Break down the New England Patriots mess. I'll tell you what their mess is. Their mess is the fact that they need to draft another, tackle to just keep to stabilize the position for the future. I'll say that. And also, they need another like receiver to be a true dominant number one. Now, obviously, I'm leaning towards, a guy like an AJ Brown would be perfect and stuff like that for that. And I really believe in the offseason that we will acquire AJ Brown since he really wants to be a Patriot, it seems like. And we certainly can use him as that true number one threat out there at wide receiver. That would be tremendous. But and also edge rushing. We need a true edge rusher. Someone that can come in and generate sacks by themselves. We get sacks as a unit just through hard work and effort, but to have a guy that easily can get you sacks off the edge, that's something that we desperately can use as well. So those are some of the ones that I can think of. Let's see. Like I said, some new teams, even more investors. You say a billionaire guy who is redoing stuff. You said AJ McCarron, example coaches the Stallions. That you know what? I did hear something about AJ McCarron. I think Black Medicine had told me about that. So you said AJ Brown is on the move. And so you can just tell by like once this is all said and done, especially if it's an early exit there, yeah, I can definitely see him on the move there. I just hope it benefits my team. But I do know that Mike Vrabel had some interest, before the trade deadline in acquiring a guy like a Tony Pollard and stuff like that. But apparently Tennessee owners like no trades with the Patriots as long as Mike Vrabel is there. So I'm like, dang, we're being that level of petty. So you say could ruin perfect Eagle chemistry. Their chemistry right now, and which we're going to find out in the playoff, just how stable that really is. I think that because, when they won their championship, Jalen Hurts realized he can just hand it off, a bunch of times, make some key plays when needed, but he didn't have that pressure to go out there and consistently throw for, 220 or more passing yards. But now that things aren't as pretty as it was last year and they need him more and stuff, the receivers would love to consistently be able to have him probably throw for about 240 ideally in a game. But Hurts is more comfortable throwing about, it could be 151 game, it could be 181 game, occasionally 205, 215. But, that's basically it. Other than that, use his legs a little bit there and hand the ball off. He's perfect for that, run first mentality. And you say so much wasted talent in Philly. Let's see, Mike says, Vrabel, perfect coach for New England. Absolutely. I mean, it makes sense, What I love the most is the fact that obviously he was a part of many of those early championships there. So he got to see how things were built. But he has his own spin on things. Why? Because he was a coach somewhere else. He was able to lead the Tennessee Titans to the playoffs, a couple of times there. So he had success doing it his own way. So he's got his own style, but understands where he fell short down there in Tennessee. Things like, the organization moving on from A.J. Brown, big mistake. You needed a guy like an A.J. Brown out there at wide receiver. But he's learned many things, and then you give him the quarterback of a Drake May, not to mention an offensive coordinator as Josh McDaniels is very, very underrated how good of an offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels is. Horrible head coach, but great offensive coordinator. I hear the Giants are considering the possibility of hiring Antonio Pierce, a former player of theirs. So I wonder, and I know that he, coached the Raiders for a little bit. So I personally, since I'm not a Giants fan, I would like to see Antonio Pierce get under the helm there for the Giants and see how that plays out for the Giants. I know the players love them. All right, we still got 3 minutes before the start of the second half. I mean, all this on the line is a division title, first round bye, potentially, or having to play round one on the road. All right, still a minute 45 to go here before the second half starts. All right, so Louisville Kings. Wow. Columbus Aviators. Oh, these are some rather interesting choices, I will say. Orlando Guardians. I feel like I've seen this one, the Orlando Guardians. I feel like I've seen that one. But I say, Mike, there's enough teams for me and you to go out there and coach a team. Honestly, there's enough for the two of us to go coach a team. Let's see, Sam says, Tree Stooges, you, JB. Oh man, here we go. Almost time to start the second half in this one. To start the third quarter with the Seahawks up 10-3 in this one. All right, so here we go. Kickoff about to be on the way. And again, the San Francisco 49ers getting the football here to start off the second half. Will there be a return? Oh, he muffs it. He's trying to dribble the football. He finally picks it up, and he has to go down at the 12-yard line. Exactly not the way that you would like to start off the second half for the 49ers there, but it's okay. You've got the football. Now, what do you do with it? Let's find out. All right, 1st and 10 for the 49ers. So run play here for Christian McCaffrey and Christian McCaffrey. All right, he's going to pick up a nice gain there on first down, and that's what the 49ers need more of. If C-Mac can set the tone on first down and get things going, then everything else can bounce off of him. 2nd and 5 coming up. Again, San Francisco trailing by 7 points here. Shotgun formation. Another run play for C-Mac, and C-Mac thrown on his back there picks up a yard on that play. Now you got 3rd and 4 coming up here for the San Francisco 49ers. And this one again, opening drive of the second half here in the 3rd quarter. Can San Francisco convert and get the first down? All season long, they've been good at converting on 3rd downs. Can they get that going here? See a big guy like Trent Edwards, that's a guy that you need out there. Third and 4, Purdy throws it. Oh, what a catch. What a catch in the first down. Okay, San Francisco, that's what you needed right there. Build some confidence and get this going. All right, 1st and 10. Play fake. Throws it. Gets the completion there to Christian McCaffrey out the backfield over the middle. And that's going to be a pickup of about a good 7 yards there on that reception. All right, so you got 2nd and 3 coming up here in the 3rd quarter, 12:35 to go. Play fake, looking, throws it, gets the completion and a first down. Needed about 3 yards, picked up 4 yards. And again, George Kittle. If I was out there, I'd throw it to him as well. All right, 1st and 10 from their own 42-yard line. Fullback goes in motion. All right, and that is Brian Robinson on the carry. Going to pick up a couple yards on this carry. 2nd and 7 coming up. Again, 11:20 to go here in the 3rd quarter of play. San Francisco here. Opening drive of the 2nd half. Right now, they have been moving it, which is a good sign for the San Francisco offense, but they've got to make it result to something here. Play fake. Purdy on the move. Purdy brought down for the sack. Oh, man, excellent job there by the Seattle Seahawks. And now you put them in a 3rd and long situation coming up. All right, so 3rd and 13, shotgun formation here for the San Francisco 49ers here. Feeling the pressure. Throws it. Incomplete. Incomplete. And Purdy gets off the ground there. 4th down coming up. And so San Francisco unable to do anything with that drive. All right, so 4th down. Let's see what the Seahawks do on this return. All right, from their own 19-yard line. The 30 still on his feet here and brought that to about the 37-yard line there. He tried to make that last guy miss. All right, so we're at the commercial now. Still at the commercial now. So now we'll get to take a look at the Seattle Seahawks offensively here in the second half. First half did score 10 points, but missed the field goal, opted not to go for the field goal early in the opening drive and tried to go for the touchdown, did not get that. So they left a couple of points on the table, but hey, all this matters is how they finish this one out here in the second half, and we'll see what they have in store. All right, and Mike says, did I like the Georgia game? Mike, I thought it was thrilling. I thought it was thrilling there, especially towards the end there. And I was shocked because I'm not gonna lie, in the third quarter when Georgia was up, I thought Georgia was like, I was like, okay, so this is probably where Georgia takes over the game there, but nah. Ole Miss said we've got new things planned here, so shout out to Ole Miss, but I enjoyed the game. I enjoyed the game. The real question is which game do we think is going to be more competitive? Is it going to be Ole Miss versus Miami, or is it going to end up being Oregon versus Indiana round two? All right, here we go. First and 10. Darnold up under center. Looking to throw. Throws it short. Caught by Kenneth Walker III. Gain of about 2 yards there on that reception. Under 10 minutes to go here in the third quarter of play. Let's see, Mike says he could not care less before about college, but now he's glued to the TV. I mean, hey, it does help with some of the stuff like the addition of the college football playoff system there. But not only that, just once you get used to the game and you just love the feel of it. I mean, NFL is special in its own rights. College football is special in its own rights as well. All right, second and 8. Darnold throws it out the backfield. Kenneth Walker III. They go back to the screenplay, and for good reason. It works. Gets the first down. And this has to keep the defense honest, keeps them from being overly aggressive because everybody wants to get after Sam Darnold. But you do stuff like this, and you got a lineman that can really sell it and then move. Because look at that. It looks like a normal pass play at first, but then gets the screen out. Excellent. Samuel says, where Laney fall asleep? Oh no, Samuel. You know she's listening in. All right, first and 10. Tosses it here to the back. Kenneth Walker the third off the right side. Fighting for every yard he can. Still running all the way to about the... Wait, is they going to call that first down there? Let's see what they mark his progress at. But an excellent run there by Kenneth Walker the third. And an even better job of that lineman, the lineman, by getting in there and just doing what linemen do. Second and 2, they say, coming up. So second and 2 coming up. And again, just seeing the combination of Kenneth Walker III and Charbonnet in the backfield, how they've had success today running the ball, has to make life a lot easier for the Seattle Seahawks. But that time, barely able to pick up a yard. If that, San Francisco said, no way. They said, come up with something else. So now we got a 3rd and 2. Before that, We've got a Seattle Seahawks player being looked at by the medical staff. Oh, I see. Yep, guy comes into your leg. Now, considering the success that the Seattle Seahawks have experienced on the ground here when we come back from the injured timeout, I'm expecting them on 32 to opt to try to see if they can perhaps run it again, especially if you bring in a different lineman. Easy for that first play to be a run play. All right, again, still here at the commercial. Let's see. Mike says he wonders how good the Jaguars are. To me, I don't know how good they are, but what I do know is that right now they're playing great football. Right now, they are in the zone. Teams that win the Super Bowl typically are not always the best teams in the NFL. They're typically the teams that are playing their best football at the right time. They get hot at the right moment. And right now, Jacksonville has found something. Now, can they keep it going throughout the duration of the playoffs? We're going to find out, but they have found something, a formula that works. Everybody's feeling confident right now. They understand their identities, they're playing their roles. So Jacksonville has a lot of things going good right now for them. They are a very tough team right now. Very tough team. The only questions I have is that you know how it is when it comes to a team like Jacksonville that's, used to that Florida, vibe. If they have to go down to a team like a New England or down there to Denver with the weather and stuff, will that cool them off or will they still be able to compete at that level? I mean, we saw the great Peyton Manning struggle in bad weather whenever he had to play outdoors. So that's one thing to consider as well. But you play a team like Jacksonville and the weather's neutral or good, look out. All right, and Laney says I'm back on here for now. Samuel had them washing dishes, but she came back there for you, Samuel. All right, 3rd and 2. Will the Seahawks get a first down and move the chains? They got Charbonnet in the backfield. We all know what Jackson Smith and Jake can do. They've tried to utilize their tight ends a little bit here. Run play. Got to make something out of nothing, and he's tripped up for a loss. What an excellent tackle by that San Francisco defense right when you need them. That's one of those things like, I don't know, like you just stand around and say the jingle like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, then boom, somebody shows up with a solution. Let's see, Mike says great tackle. Yeah, Charbonnet was going nowhere. Lenora said not today. All right, brings up the 4th down. Punts on the way. Fair catch simple and caught at the 8-yard line. And that's where those San Francisco 49ers will take over down by 7 points still. The score is still 10-3 here in the 3rd quarter with just 6 minutes and 47 seconds left to go here in the third. The 3rd quarter is going by pretty fast, guys. So let's see what happens. And Mike says, raced by. To think the last season of the NFL regular season. For many of these teams, we will not see them in action again until the NFL preseason comes back around. So we've got some time. Let's see, Mike says Texans D is nasty. Yes, that's the team that I'm like, all right, got to look out for a team like the Houston Texans here because they can come in, especially if CJ Stroud come in like he did at the beginning of the last game against the Chargers and throwing those deep bombs and stuff early on. If they get that version going, oh man, look out. But that defense alone is scary. I truly believe if they're matched up when they're on the road and they're going down to the Denver Broncos, I truly believe the Houston Texans could beat a team like the Broncos on the road. The Broncos will not score more than about 13 points, and I think Houston can muster up at least a good 16 in a matchup against the Broncos. Mike says, we want 18 weeks. We do, but the NFL players, the guys making all that money, they don't seem to like that idea all that much. I'm all for it. Like, hey, 18 games, 20 weeks, 2 bye weeks, that's what I suggest. An extra bye week, expand the roster a little bit. I'm all for that. Let's see. SM says, can't wait to see those playoff matchups. Oh, yeah, this year we get a real treat because every single game we see is going to be intriguing. It's just going to be intriguing. Now, I don't know who's going to get in between the Steelers and the Ravens there, but if the Ravens get in and they fully start using Derrick Henry, like they really start using my man the way that they're supposed to, they could be an interesting team just for the sake of it'll be a tough team to beat. And Christian McCaffrey picks up 2 yards on the carry on first down. On first down, they've been pretty consistent this entire game. First down, hand the ball to Christian McCaffrey there because they don't want to end up on a second and long situation. But look at the difference in rushing yards in this game. Seahawks 118, 49ers 35. All that to say, 49ers are still only down by just 7 points right now. Here in the third quarter with 6 minutes and 15 seconds to go. Fullback goes in motion. 5 seconds right now on the play clock. Purdy throws it, completed to Christian McCaffrey, and Christian McCaffrey's going to be about 1.5 yards shy of that first down marker. All right, so both C-Mac and the fullback head to the sideline. 3rd and 2. You say Patriots probably facing the Chargers. That's a good matchup. And so, yeah, I will take that. I will take that. Unless the Chargers can do me a solid and somehow upset the Broncos, even with their backups. But that's wishful thinking. But yes, I will certainly take that. 3rd and 2. Throws it, gets the completion. However, he will be shy of that first down marker. So 4th down coming up. Your offense has looked like milk that's been in the refrigerator for a couple years. And so you got to figure this one out, but ultimately you're too far back, so you got to punt this ball. And it's frustrating. I know it's frustrating. Should have ran the route a little further. You say Dan Campbell will go for it. Yes, we all know that. We all know that. Punts on the way. All right, let's see. Let's see. Mike says you saw an article about Malik Willis being in demand. I surely hope when they say that he's in demand that it's for a backup role. Because Malik Willis, I love the kid. The kid is someone that's humble. He's a good person. He's a good person. And I've definitely seen the tremendous improvement about his game. That being said, I feel like he's best off being one of those guys that continues to do what he's doing now. I really hope for him that he chooses to stay with the Packers and the Packers give him a nice, quarterback 2 contract because I feel like he's comfortable there. It's so important for him to be in that role. And plus, Jordan Love, as good as he is, he gets hurt often. If you're the Eagles, you're going to need to have a backup like that. Now, I don't want to compare this man to the guy I'm about to say in terms of skill set, but I'm just comparing him in terms of situation. You guys remember AJ Feely, and AJ Feely, when he took over for the Eagles, when Donovan McNabb had a little injury and stuff, he looked good. Good enough for the Dolphins to trade a second round pick for him. And then what happened? Nothing. A guy like Malik Willis is just better off, hey, you're good in this situation, in this system, just stay here. Just stay here. Just like Tyler Huntley, good backup for the Baltimore Ravens. I can't even say for another team. For the Baltimore Ravens, that's a good situation for you. Stay there, make your money there. And, teams need a good backup quarterback these days because if somebody goes down, you're in shambles. But these guys can keep your season afloat. Like when San Francisco brought in Mac Jones as the backup quarterback, you saw how that paid off. That's Malik Willis for the Packers. So they would be wise to keep him. Otherwise, you end up having to sign somebody like a Desmond Ridder out of desperation, or who knows, top on wood, hope this never happened, have to reach out to someone like a Brett Favre to come out of retirement. Because teams are now digging that deep in their bag because they need another quarterback. But no, all jokes aside, see, Samuel says, where Laney at Tennessee? And then RC says, why is the scoring so low, JB? Well, Seattle's defense for one, and Seattle's, I should say, inability to take advantage of some of those opportunities they had early on to add to this score. But right now, 10-3, that's what we got. Seahawks defense is playing work. They're putting in the work. And Seattle offensively has had some opportunities. He said, great points. Backups, backups are so important. They're so important. If your guy gets knocked down, you need that backup that can come in and stabilize the position, keep things going. And you have to know that guy is that backup. Oh my goodness, Sam Darnold doing Sam Darnold things there. I knew it was all too good to be true. But luckily for him, his running back saved the day, Charbonnet. He's not just good for catching and falling on fumbles on a 2-point play in overtime. He's also good for stopping fumbles, I guess, on traditional plays too. Look at that. 49ers had it in their hands. That's the kind of play that changes everything. And what is up with Sam Darnold, man? Sam, you're never going to beat the allegations like that, my guy. You're never going to beat the allegations like that. Let's see, 2nd and 17 after that debacle there. Darnold out the shotgun this time. Darnold throws one dangerous there, but he incomplete. So now 3rd and long coming up. Again, here in the 3rd quarter with 3 minutes and 48 seconds to go. Samuel says, where's Laney at? And SM says, same Darnold. And Mike says, same weak arm Darnold. So 3rd and 17. You know what? I know this is going to sound weird, but you guys give me 2 quarterbacks that you guys enjoyed watching play despite the fact that they had pretty weak arms compared to their peers. Oh my goodness, Kenneth Walker III found a way to get the first down for the Seahawks there on that carry. Talk about putting a team on your back. He says, don't worry, Sam, I got this. He got the first in spite of Sam. Look at that. They just tossed it to him. I'm here thinking, all right, he's going to pick up 3. Then I was like, okay, maybe he'll pick up 8. Maybe he'll pick up 11, 12. Then I was like, wait a minute, he's going to get the first down. That's exactly what he did. John Lynch can't believe it. John Lynch said, put him back out there at safety. He'll make sure that doesn't happen. But Kenneth Walker III, wow. That puts him over 1,000 yards rushing on the season. Play fake. Throws it. Gets the completion to Jackson Smith and Jigma. Tell me if you heard that before today. So now, thanks to Kenneth Walker III, historic run. The Seahawks right now are feeling a little bit of momentum here. And it's so important they come away with points here, even if it's a field goal. I know that they want to get a touchdown there, apply pressure to the 49ers, but even if it's a field goal that makes it a 2-score game with the way your defense is playing, that helps. So they got to come up with something. But look at that. Jackson Smith and Jigma making circus catches here, spinning in the air, catching it at its highest point, protecting themselves. Man. Play fake. Darnold looking. Darnold throws it short. Charbonnet with the reception. Charbonnet looking. Charbonnet doing work. Gets the first down before he's pushed out of bounds. 2 minutes and 10 seconds left to go here in the third quarter. And let's see, Mike says, new favorite receiver. You bet your bottom dollar he is. He is my 1A receiver. Like my dream list, if I could get any receiver, that's the guy I want. Now, Puka Nacua is probably the second option for me right now. You say, let's see. You say Hillen seems to live it in E. Oh man, look at that. Oh, 7th round pick out of Florida State, Tatum Bethune, in his second season. How tall is Jackson? Isn't he like what? Like, how tall is Jackson? That's a good question. Let me not project. Let me look and see real quick. All right, so how tall is Jackson? Is he like what, 5'10" or something? Let me see. Oh, he's actually 6 feet. All right, so he's actually 6 feet. But yeah, only 23 years old. So you know you got a lot of football left in him. If he's doing this at age 23, look out. Look out. Oh, Hollins. Yeah, yeah. Hollins, hey, I like Hollins. I do like Hollins. He may not show up to the game wearing any shoes and walk around barefooted and stuff. And he's got some caveman in him. But hey, he comes through. And I like that about him. 1st and 10. Throws it incomplete. See, every team needs to have a journeyman who's, been in the league a couple years there. He saw what it's like when it doesn't work out there, but he continued to fight through it. And then all of a sudden it all comes together on your team. Because these are the guys that's not going to go out there and ask you to pay them 3-year contract for 90 mil or some crazy number like that. These are the guys that have signed a contract 3 years, like 12 million, 15 million. And they may not have that, receiver 1 role all the time, receiver 2, but they're very important pieces. And you can throw some jump balls up there for Holland too. He's got that height. All right, 2nd and 10. Draw play. And Charbonnet fighting for what he can, but all he can get is a yard out of that one. 3rd down coming up. And again, we've got 1 minute and 25 seconds left to go here in the third quarter. Says New England. Let's see what some says. Rivers kind of had a weak arm, right? You said you enjoyed watching him play back in the day. And so, well, that arm certainly got weak a lot due to age and stuff like that, I feel like. But for me, when I think of someone that I really enjoyed, despite the fact he may have played on a team that I didn't necessarily like, but I was always a huge fan of Chad Pennington. Despite the fact that Chad Pennington did not have an arm, I was a fan of his. I was always also a fan of watching a guy like Jeff Garcia also, even though Jeff Garcia did not have, by any means, a strong arm. But those are 2 guys that come to mind that I think of when I think of weak arms that were just entertaining to get it done. Those are guys that come to mind. But yeah, I guess I guess Rivers sort of fits that. But in his younger days now, he had a little bit more arm. Essam says Alex Smith was solid on the Chiefs before Mahomes. That was true. Mike says true. Say clean, no flag. All right, so here we go. Can Seattle get some points on this drive? So run play. Kenneth Walker III trying to fight this one off, but he cannot do it. He's going to lose some yards on the carry. It's a difference of about 5 seconds between the third quarter time remaining and the play clock. 2nd and 12 coming up. So this is a big drive right now for the Seattle Seahawks. The way that their defense has been playing, they got to come away with some points here. All right, so here we go. Jackson Smith-Njigba goes in motion. Play fake Darnold. Gonna flick it forward there, and Charbonnet It's going to pick up, let's see how many yards here, probably about a good 5-6 yards there on that play. I've got a question for everybody in the chat. Who can remember the last time that they fired up a VHS? If you guys can tell JB the last time you fired up a VHS, let JB know. I know it's completely random there, but somehow seeing that pass reminded me of a VHS. Somehow. Can't explain it. But yes, if you guys have used the VHS in the past, let JB know the last year that you've used the VHS. Or if you're still using it, let me know that too. Laney says, you're in Tennessee. You don't ever get to go anywhere out of state. We got to get Laney to go on a field trip. We got to get Laney to go to the Super Bowl. I know, Laney, I know if your Jaguars go to the Super Bowl, you're going to travel for that one. I know you will. Asim said, JB, you remember Mark Bolger? Was he good? I remember Mark Bolger. Mark Bolger was there back when Steven Jackson took over. He took over after Kurt Warner for the Rams there. And for a second, he made the Pro Bowl and stuff for a little bit early on, but then it, faded eventually. But yeah, I had high hopes for Mark Bolger. I really did. I thought he was going to, have a solid career and kind of keep that thing going there. But it didn't last as long as I thought. But during that period, Mark Bolger, he had a period where he was good. He did. And she Lane says, would love to, but couldn't afford it. And so, man, I wish that there's a way that we could, nominate someone for a free NFL ticket. That would be great. Mike says, I wish we knew the seating. And so, well, we're going to find out the seating and stuff. We're going to find out that seating after all the games are played and stuff. And then we're going to have a discussion prior to the playoffs there. So I'll see. I'll probably reach out to Zoe, see if he wants to do some type of, stream to discuss the remaining of the, obviously NFL playoffs, the remaining of the college football playoffs too, and discuss stuff like that. And also got to congratulate old man on his college football picks and stuff. Although we did finish tied for college football, somehow it says that he gets the win for that one there, but he gets the tiebreaker in that one. So that was interesting there. But when it comes to NFL picks, old man just ran away with it. He ran away with it. I was a little distracted with the move and everything, so old man ran away with it. But yeah, we can definitely break down the bracket once we actually see the bracket. I just got to set time up for that, because that will not take longer than maybe like at most 2 hours. Mike says, let's go. All right, so 3rd and 7 here. Sam Darnold in the shotgun. 49ers look like they want to bring pressure here. I see a lot of guys coming up here. How many will actually come? They only drop 4. Darnold throws it. Gets the completion to his tight end. His tight end takes the hit, picks up a yard. That's it. 4th down coming up. Lainey says, yeah, she had a free ticket. She told everyone here, bye, see you later. Finding a Jaguar. Yes. Meanwhile, 31-yard field goal attempt. It is good. So the Seattle Seahawks, they find a way to make it a 2-score game now. So now the pressure is all on San Francisco. For 3 quarters, they could not find their way into the end zone. But if they want to be that 1 seed, they're going to have to find a way to get into that end zone. Let's see. Brayhawk is in the building. What's good? What's good? How are we, Braden? As RC said, JB, this is totally random-ish, but I think we should do an NFL playoff football 30-minute series. You know what, RC? I like that. I like that. I like that. Definitely, I'd say reach out on Twitter, but we both know by the time you reach out on Twitter, it might be March or April and stuff like that. But we can definitely, brainstorm something, to discuss this upcoming playoff series for sure. That would be great. That would be great. If you have any recommendations of, suggested times and stuff this week, just let me know. Yes, I said, JB, I miss going to video stores and renting VHS and then DVD, Blockbusters days. Yes, like you just can't replace that feel. Now JB's gonna tell you, JB still got a VHS/DVD player. I've got VHS, Mr. JB, he's got VHS as well. They're mostly stored like a lot of them at his place and stuff, but yeah, that DVD. So I still got it. I still got it there. Just gotta find a way to, connect some of this stuff. Because these modern day TVs are not friendly to a lot of these, DVD, VHS players and stuff. So that's the only holdback. But I know a way to make it happen. It's just, yeah, it's one of those things that I'm gonna have to do eventually. As Yesem said, I would rent games. Those two were the days. Yes, they were. Yes, they were. But hey, you're talking to the same JB that I still take that ESPN NFL 2K5 video game, update the rosters every year and stuff like that. So that way I can still play, the game just with the up-to-date rosters that somebody updates the roster, I go through, take their edits, and then I edit it again, make it feel more realistic. So that way that's what I do these days. So all that just to get the quality that I enjoy from video games. Let's see, Braden says, doing good. How about Ole Miss beating Georgia? Right. Hey, they made a fool out of JB. They made a fool out of JB because I was talking certain as if I knew Georgia was going to win that game. I really felt like they were going to, but I guess, hey, it's true. You take that time off, the only team that has survived having a week off is Indiana. That's how I know, like, hey, they are legit, legit. But yeah. Shout out to Ole Miss, though, coming through and getting that W in the clutch. Big time win for that program. You said JB just uses the VHS to watch the Cowboys Super Bowls. Now, why would I do something like that? Why would I do something like that? All right, so we're here in the fourth quarter, guys. Right now, San Francisco's down 10 points, and knowing this offense, 10 points is not a huge deal, but at the same time, the way they've been playing today kind of sort of feels like it. Right now, you've got Kittle motioning, two tight ends here. C-Mac goes in motion. They snap the ball. Purdy on the move. Purdy throws it downfield, gets the completion there to George Kittle. And Kittle making it look easy, making it do what it do. As some said, who has the best chance at beating Indiana? The best chance at beating Indiana. Ooh. Ooh. Honestly, I feel the team that has the best chance to do it is the Oregon Ducks. And I'm explaining why. It's really hard to beat a team twice, as we saw with Georgia and Ole Miss. That's really hard there. Oregon, they've got a tremendous quarterback themselves there. They're familiar. It's not like playing a team that you're not familiar with, and it takes a little while to get used to it. But they know what they're going to be up against this time around. And they have that extra added, like, hey, we already lost to them one time. Just like last year. Who did Oregon lose to when they were the 1 seed? They lost to Ohio State the second time. After beating Ohio State the first time, they lost to Ohio State the second time. It's hard to beat a good team twice. And so I think Oregon is the biggest threat right now to them that remains. And so, but Miami certainly has the talent and stuff, but I'm going to say Oregon. Let's see, Brayhawk says, oh, JB, Michigan basketball is looking like the early 90s. And so, I was asking everybody earlier when it came to just the top 3 teams right now in college basketball, because from what I'm seeing and stuff like that, it looks like Michigan's got a super team from what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing and stuff. I haven't watched, a lot of their games so far, but man, I'm like, there's got to be somebody that can beat them, right? Meanwhile, 49ers gets the first down. That's another first down here again, here in the fourth quarter with 12:05 to go. And the 49ers with the football, but they trail 13-3, but they are moving the ball. Oh, wait a minute, Jerron Jennings, calm down. Didn't Jennings get into it with somebody else the other day? Come on, Juwan Jennings, man. Your team down 10 points right now, man. Get it together. If you that mad, go out there and make a touchdown, bruh. You get paid all this money to keep your cool. I don't understand that. I just don't understand it. These players act like they out here playing for free on a pickup game and stuff like that. Look at this. Oh man, y'all really y'all really took that to the sideline. Y'all really took that to the sideline. Okay. Dang, that dang, you don't see too many blocks like that. Let's see, Bragg says also Iowa's playing well and sad in Nebraska is for real. What's Nebraska's record this year? First and 10, throws it and gets the completion there to Juwan Jennings. Okay, that's what you do. When you get upset, you go out there and you make big plays. That's what you do. Mike says fight. Then he says beef. Oh yeah, they got a special right now with all that beef. Excellent throw. He could have threw it short there to C-Mac, but he knew his guy was there. Excellent job. SM says Seattle's choking. First and goal, guys. 49ers up the middle. C-Mac takes it to the 6-yard line. They need 6 more yards to get into the end zone. What they call here on second down is going to be very important. RC said, warming up burgers again, JB and Braden. Oh, man. And you're going to share some with JB, right? That was the game plan. Brayox says 14-0. And that sounds good, RC. Oh, yeah, that sounds great. All right, so can the 49ers get their first touchdown of the game? This could wake up the sleeping Giants if they get into that end zone. Looking. Got to look where Kittle is. And, oh no! Oh, my goodness. C-Mac, how could you? How could you? Ball off his hands, right into the linebacker's hand. Thomas for the gift. Christmas is over, C-Mac. Wow. Look at that. Purdy throws it. C-Mac, usually good hands, bounces off his hands. And what's worse, right into the arms of the linebacker. Look at it. Wow. Wow. Brayhawk says picked. Brayhawk says this Seahawks defense is for real. SM says that's game. RC says, Braden, is Emily going to come back soon? Or Emily? Let's see. Brayhawk says you have to catch that. Yes, you got to. But now deep within their own territory. Seahawks got to protect the football. That means it's time to run the football. Charbonnet, legs wrapped up. He's not going anywhere. Brayok says, sounds like she's dealing with back injury. 2nd and 9 coming up. 10 minutes left to go here in the 4th quarter of play. And if you are a Seahawks fan, you are excited right now. Matter of fact, if you're a Seahawks fan, you might be calling in right now saying, hey, I want to purchase my tickets right now. And they're like, all right, y'all, this is non-refundable. Let's see, RC said, how did Indiana get this good so fast? Well, quite frankly, you got to give credit to the coach. It starts with the coach. This is what, his 2nd year in the system. That means, obviously, in college football, when you have the portal working the way that the portal does, that helps expedite things tremendously. You could be a 2-win team one year and turn around and be a 2-loss team the next year if you have the right guys that come in that fit your system and you have the right guys calling the plays and stuff. But shout out to Indiana's coach. He's done a tremendous job. He is a winner. And so he's helped them boys with the right mindset. And then year 2 brought in the guys to make sure they have the size that can match up with the big teams. And so that's how you do it. That's how you do it. Mike says, any Lions changes coming? And so, you would think so, but the way that Dan Campbell sounds at the podium talking about, they're not that far away and stuff, and that the defense, there's not going to be any major changes for the defense and stuff. That sounds to me like a team that just thinks that they're just going to run it back and stuff like that. I'm not in love with that. You gotta always update what's going on here and prepare for what's up. Just because you had a couple nice seasons don't mean you keep doing it if it stops working. But Sam Darnold says, hey, I got legs too. Let me see what I can do. And Sam Darnold runs for a couple yards. Their third down coming up. Essen says, yes, both his teams make sense there. You say, JB, but it's better for me if Seattle wins. Explain how that helps there again. Is it because if the Seahawks win, does that mean the Rams get the higher seed? The higher wild card seed, that 5 seed? All right, here we go. 3rd and 2 coming up here for the Seattle Seahawks. 3 receivers, 1 tight end, 1 back from their own 24-yard line. Throws it, gets a completion for the first down for the Seattle Seahawks at the 30-yard line. And each first down means more time off the clock. And right now, if you're San Francisco, that clock is very crucial. Oh, there's a 49ers player down right now. Essen says the Rams will get the 5th seed if they beat Arizona. And so you mean when they beat Arizona? Because if they mess around and let Arizona beat them, then that's a whole different thing. But yeah, so okay. I think that's most likely going to happen. But man, I cannot wait for these playoff games. I mean, these are going to be great matchups across the board. All right, let's see. SM says they lost to Carolina and Atlanta. I'm not counting my chickens before they hatch. But yeah, I agree. I mean, think of it this way. Atlanta is a team that, I don't know, it's like throughout the regular season they get bored. But there are times where they see someone coming up and they get excited. Remember, Atlanta also beat Buffalo, in shocking fashion as well. Atlanta shows that when they decide to care, they can be a team that can get hot, but they don't care very much. They like to ride the wave, honestly. I think they like having the attention off of them in all reality. But you put Atlanta in a primetime game, I don't know, something happens to them, you know. And then Carolina, oh my goodness. Carolina's the same way. Carolina, they like to, except, yeah, I feel like when you put them in a primetime game, they like to play better usually. But if it's daytime, then nah. So to say this and to say that, SM, honestly, is Devontae Adams going to be playing in that game? Do we know? Will he be playing? Let's see. Mike says, who SM? Let's see. SM says, Fight John is a monster. And so he can be. He can be. You get him on the right day, absolutely. Now, there's some days where they're like, all right, Bajan, we're just not going to give you the ball that much for whatever reason. And we want to let Algier get more carries. They be doing some weird stuff with that. And you never know what you're going to expect from Kirk Cousins. He can just wake up one day and decide, nah, I ain't feeling it today. So the real question is for Atlanta, Kyle Pitts, what's that contract going to look like for Kyle Pitts? Are we just going to pay him off a couple games or what? Meanwhile, Kenneth Walker III, look at Kenneth Walker III running, get that first down. 7 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter of play, and right now Seattle up 13-3, and they are running the clock. SM says now they're saving Adams for the playoffs. Well, what about the offensive line? I know that you guys were without, what, 2 offensive linemen against Atlanta? 2 starting offensive linemen, I should say. So how about the offensive line? If y'all at least have the offensive line back, then ain't nothing to worry about. All right, she said, I'd rather see Carolina get in than Tampa break. Tampa break. Oh, man. 1st and 10. And, oh, man, Kenneth Walker III. Does he think he's Marshawn Lynch or something? Look at these carries. I see you, Kenneth Walker III. And again, I remember when he first came out of the draft, and I was, I was one of the guys, me and Old Man both we vouched for him. Being Big Ten guys, we vouched for him. But man, they really needed him today, and he's been showing up. He's been showing up. 5 minutes and 55 seconds left to go here in the fourth quarter of play. They're in San Francisco side of the ball at their 48-yard line. They're up 10 points, 13-3. 3 seconds right now on the play clock. They snap the ball, play fake. Darnold looking. Darnold steps up, throws it short, gets the completion to Charbonnet, and Charbonnet brought down at about the 43-yard line. SM says, yeah, left tackle and right guard. Oh, left tackle is so important. You say tackle might play, but the guard may be out for a while. Well, even just getting that left tackle is going to be huge. That's going to be huge there. That's the big concern there. You know Adams, when he's ready to go, he'll be ready to go. But that's the big concern there is that offensive line. Because Matthew Stafford in his advanced age, I mean, I know he's a guy that can play through injuries and stuff, but got to keep him upright. That's another first down. This time Charbonnet on the carry. Under 5 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter play. And right now Seattle is doing a great job at milking that clock. All right, Mike says go Atlanta. Do you guys want to see Mike McCarthy get another shot at being an NFL head coach? Or are we all tired of that scenario of seeing Mike McCarthy come back once again for another NFL team? Play fake. Darnold looking. Darnold throws it. Darnold too high. Was it picked off? Did he stay in bounds? No, they're saying he's out of bounds. All right, so Mike says you want Dak to change sceneries too, but it will never happen. For Dak's sake, let's see. Okay, so yeah, he's out of bounds. Okay. But yeah, for Dak's sake, I mean, you have CD, now you got Pickens there, and then, Devontae Williams in the backfield. So for Dak, I mean, you're in a pretty good situation. You can go ahead, continue to be quarterback for a team that gets so many primetime games, deservingly or not. But yeah, at this point, he's probably better off just staying there, really. Dak's not a guy that's playing for a championship. My man came in the league as what, a fourth-round pick out of Mississippi State. He's happy to be in the league and collecting checks. Dak ain't worried about no championship. I'll tell you that right now. Dak ain't worried about no championship. He wants to make that money. You say who the Jets coach? Aaron Glenn? Yeah, Aaron Glenn, former defensive coordinator of the Detroit Lions. As says, McCarthy to the Titans. So you want to see him go to the Tennessee Titans there. Well, I mean, if you're going to send him to the Tennessee Titans, I'm okay with that. At least have a competent coach there. Obviously expectations right now are not going to be championship no time soon. That works for Jonathan Mike McCarthy. Turn his team into a 6-win team, following year 7-win team. Next year, maybe an 8-win team, best case, well, decent case scenario. Then they replace him with a coach that's ready to come in and win, but at least does some cleanup there because he knows what a pro team should look like and how to get some help. But we'll see what path they take. All right, meanwhile, for the Seahawks, if Sam Darnold can orchestrate a first down here and help them take off more time, I mean, they're in a good position now, but another first down, one would have to think like, okay, like that's it. So let's see, Sam Darnold dropping back, Sam moving, Sam, will he run? Sam throws it, gets it to Cooper Kupp, and Cooper Kupp takes it to the 11-yard line. Sam Darnold, same Darnold, slinging it, Darnold, first down. See, Mike says, when you do your shows, see who you and the guys think teams are good at, on their starting quarterback. So which teams are good on their starting quarterback? Okay, bet. Raiders and Geno? Oh no. I was thinking myself the other day, I was like, you know, when the Raiders move on from Geno, in which, I mean, they could bring him in if they draft the quarterback, but they could keep him if they draft the quarterback, just as that veteran presence and stuff. But honestly, I don't like it at all. But but yeah, I mean, Geno, his days as a starter should have been done at this point. He needs to be a backup somewhere. I don't know, a team with an injury-prone quarterback that just needs a backup to come in when need be, help a young quarterback develop. You know, let's see. SM said, good play by Darnold. To be honest, it was. All right, another run play here, and Charbonnet's going to pick up about 3 yards on the carry. And San Francisco continuing to call these timeouts here. You say, none succeeded in Vegas. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I really hope for their sake what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, you know, like all the bad stuff that happens. Hopefully they leave that behind in Vegas when they leave. But it's really just it starts with ownership at this level. When a team's been this bad for so long, you know, I get it, you know, back when they had Derek Carr, they had a little thing that they were able to, you know, put together. That was nice, but they need a formula. They don't need to rely on luck. They need a formula to figure this out. And they've got a lot of, and I mean a lot of work to do. That's not a task that I would want to take on if I was looking for an NFL head coaching job. 2nd and 7. Running, spinning. All right. Picks up about almost half the yards needed. Picked up about 3 yards there. Now you got a 3rd and 4 coming up. All right, she said 2 and 14 Raiders are pitiful. Yeah, Raiders are just bad. All right, so 3rd and 4 coming up. With 3:15 to go here in the fourth quarter, San Fran without any timeouts. Running, looking, fighting. Can they get the first down there? He's close, but not quite there. 4th down coming up. Mike says, gain so much holiday weight. Help them. Well, you know what, Mike? The good news is we got a little bit of time before it's time to go hit up the beach and stuff. So we got some time to make up between now and then. I'm actually starting my new membership on Monday. I'm going to be heading there 7 a.m. to my gym. First time I'll be using this fitness gym there, but it's very close. So I'm going to go ahead and use that one and see how it works out. Meanwhile, 4th and 1, it looks like a very long 1 yard. There's no way to really go for this, right? So, all right. All right, so they're going to get the flag there. And yeah, I mean, I could tell you they wasn't going to go for it because if you look at that 1 yard, that was not a close 1 yard. That was really almost 2 yards. Now tell me this, Mike. Over the holiday season, how much sweet potato pie did you eat? All right, it's a 26-yard field goal attempt coming up. And, oh, did he miss this? He doinked it. Oh, man, my man out here doinking. That ain't good at all. That ain't good. Maybe they should have went for it. The last thing you need is right now for your kicker to be losing confidence. That's literally right there. I mean, I've seen Mike make this in the warm-up. Like, this is. Let's see, Mike says only one sweet potato pie. And I bet you it was a good one, too. But yeah, in terms of how I like the move, I like the move. I really like the move there. It feels like, you know, just being back home, honestly. So I'm happy about it. There are some things that just, you know, I really like how things work here in Georgia. So feels great. It feels great. Thankfully, it's not hot yet. Purdy throws it. Incomplete. 2nd and 10 coming up here for the San Francisco 49ers. And Mike says, stop the presses. The Hornets won. Oh, man. I'm a little upset that Wemby didn't play. I saw that for the Houston Rockets. CJ looked like he was hurt. Don't know if he ever came back there. But, man, I was like, dang, that messed up my slip there. Both of those guys ended up not playing. Throws it to C-Mac, and C-Mac's going to pick up about 4 yards on the reception. Trying to hurry up there for the 2-minute mark. 3rd down coming up. All right, so it's going to take us to the 2-minute mark. With 2-minute mark, Seahawks lead this one 13-3. See, Mike says, yeah, hometown is what's up. RC said, is it colder there or in Texas? Honestly, before I moved down there, it was really colder in Georgia than it was in Texas at that point. But now that I'm actually here, I feel like it's probably been very similar, but surprisingly, it's a little bit colder in Georgia than it was in Texas, but that may change soon. Because as soon as I came down, it did warm up a little bit. I see Mike says, Bucks have a good player, and now they need to add an S to that. They need good players. Or as he said, JB, I made a couple of burger sliders for the kids. And so, hey, that's what's up. See, life is great being a kid, you know. Free burger sliders. Oh, man. That's what's up, RC. And see, Samuel says, hey, JB, coming soon. Tornado season 2026 in March. And so, yeah, we got to find a way to stop these tornadoes from coming through. They be causing havoc out here. Now, but again, we're at the commercial. Thanks to it being at the 2-minute mark. San Francisco's down by 10 points. So I'll be interested to see if they get in field goal range. Will they opt to try a field goal and then try the onside kick, or go for the touchdown? And then if you get that, then worry about the onside kick. One thing for sure, so far, San Francisco has mustered just 3 points offensively so far in this one. So the offense has not executed the way that they would like. And Mike has a question for RC. Says, what buttons do you use for your sliders, RC? And RC says, rank them best to worst out of these: Olive Garden, Outback, Texas Roadhouse, Buffalo Wild Wings. Ah, man, these are some good choices here. Good choices. I'm going to say first and foremost for me and stuff like that, I'm going to have to say Texas Roadhouse first. I'm going to say second. I'm going to say I do like me some Buffalo Wild Wings second. Outback third. Olive Garden. Olive Garden would be fourth for me. So that is my order. As I said, these little Hawaiian type buns. All right, here we go. 3rd and 6 for the 49ers. Purdy throws it. Incomplete. Incomplete in the direction of George Kittle. And now 4th down coming up. And if San Francisco is unable to convert this 4th down, and that means the Seattle Seahawks will be our representation of the #1 seed in the NFC. See, Mike says great choice. All right, 4th and 6. Purdy feeling the rush. Purdy throws it and it's incomplete, and that's the game right there. Purdy took a hit, though. I hope he's okay. Certainly don't want him going down. And Purdy is still down right now. We talked about Mac Jones, all of this and all of that, but maybe we might be seeing playoff Mac Jones in action. All right, let's see what happened here. Oh, what? Yeah, that was a hit there. That was a hit there. Mike says, Mac getting excited. RC said San Fran going out bad. And so, oh man, you hate to see it because we're all so excited for the matchups to come in the playoffs. You don't want to see anybody losing players, especially key players, before the big playoff run even begins. But man, he took a hit. Hopefully he's okay. But you see that he's still down. Oh man, look at that. Look at that nail. But okay, so seeing Purdy over there, Mac Jones, like, you sure you don't want me to get in there, buddy? You sure? Oh man. But it's good to see him head to the sideline there. Certainly good news there. All right, but hey, all Seattle's got to do now is just run out this clock, and that's going to be it. So Seattle will be the 1 seed, and everything in the NFC will head through Seattle. The 12th man will be involved. You know that. But the only thing is, Sam Darnold, how will he perform in the playoffs? Can Sam change the narrative in the playoffs? That's what I want to know. But man, big win here on the road here for the Seattle Seahawks. 13-3 will be the final score. Seahawks on top. All right, said JB. Okay, so what about Wingstop versus Buffalo Wild Wing? Who has the better Buffalo? For me personally, I would have to go with Buffalo Wild Wings personally. I don't too much get Wingstop all that much anymore. I used to probably during my college days, but I definitely get more Buffalo Wild Wings a lot more. Let's see, RC said, JB, I'll be back doing content with a vengeance. I've been on hiatus just a little bit there. I look forward to it, RC. I do. I do. And Mike says, awesome broadcast. Appreciate that and appreciate you, Mike. Laney says, when will you stream again, JB? Yeah, so my next stream, I'm not 100% sure if it's going to be perhaps maybe Wednesday. Let me look and see real quick because I might reach out to Zoe and see if Zoe can do our stream that we typically do on Wednesday. But let me just check and see if there's any, let's see, college football bowls. I haven't even looked at the college football schedule to see when the remaining games are. So give me 1 second here. Let's see. All right, so looking through this. See January. All right, so if it's, I definitely want to do either the Oregon and Indiana game or Miami Ole Miss game. Possibly Mike can do both. Just got to see how the week works out, honestly. So Wednesday most likely will be my next stream, but it's possible that I may end up streaming both of those games, or at least one of those games for sure, for the rest of the college football playoffs. So that is what I'm thinking. Wednesday will be the next stream. All right, sorry that took a minute there. All right, let's see. All right, she said, JB, when might your next stream be? And by the way, Rhino has a late show he does. He did the first time late last night with a guest host. Oh, how did that go? And so Samuel says, hey, JB, I think what Buffalo Wings? And so, shoot. Now, JB loves some Buffalo Wild Wings. You know that. You know that. I'm also a huge fan of barbecue wings, for sure. Let's see. RC says, JB, I'll be attempting to do some unrivaled coverage. Brayhawk says, game. Good night, JB. Yeah, good night to you, Brayden. Thanks for coming through. Mike says, do both if you can. And so I'll do my best. I'll do my best. JB be working, multiple jobs right now. So it just comes down to having the energy, in all honesty, after working 2 jobs. But I'll see if I can. So I said, JB, do the Miami versus Ole Miss game if you can. Bet. Laney said, okay, cool, be looking. I appreciate that. And yes, I'll do my best to get them out earlier in the week so that way everybody has the time to see it before the actual day. All right, she said, Rhino had a fantastic show, even though it started at midnight. Oh, he came in for the late crew. The late crew. Okay. All right, she said, peace out, JB and all. You say, hey, appreciate you coming through, RC. Take care. Enjoy them burgers there. Save some for the kids now. Save some for the kids. All right. But yeah, good night to you. Samuel said, was when will you JB again? And so, yeah. So it may be Wednesday. It just comes down to, reaching out to Zoe and possibly even Old Man to see if they can come through again for Wednesday. But if not, then it probably will end up being, like Thursday for the college football playoffs. And then I'll see about Friday as well. And so SM says good night, Goat. I appreciate that and appreciate you, SM. And hey, your team got to take care of business against the Cardinals. I'll be thinking of you when I see the Rams play the Cardinals there. So they got to go out there and get that W. Let's see. Samuel says he's out. Good night. Yeah, good night. Appreciate you, Samuel. And again, congratulations on Ole Miss beating Georgia. They say good, great, safe work, JB. Appreciate that. Mr. JB says good night, everyone. Yeah, good night to you. And let's see, Mike says night all. Yeah, good night and good night to you, Laney, as well. Thank you for coming through. So JB will go ahead and end the live now. But thanks again, everybody, for coming through. Be sure if you aren't subscribed already that you subscribe to the channel. And see you guys next time. Take care.